is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start.
Actual emergency.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
A magical mystery scene. Check it out, yeah, the hit house scene.
Hello, Space Dogs!
Hi again.
Tim's back. We're back. We're gonna try and do First Dance Floor again. We did it last week, but if you were watching, you will perhaps recall our utter frustration.
One way to put it.
Yes.
Horrible desynchronized depth
Yes.
chart.
Yes. So one of the questions that came up last week was, is the audio in the game in First Dance Stage Red Book audio, as in CD audio, as in you can put it in a regular CD player and it just plays? And the answer is yes. In fact, it is. And as a result, for whatever reason, what I figured out after the last stream, other than the fact that it's party time still, is that the so we're running Tim's MK3 system unit because mine is broken, and but for whatever reason the CD-ROM drive that was in his was not behaving as it expected, apparently.
Yeah, it wasn't playing the audio at the right speed, or had some delay, or
you know what, I
too fast or something.
I want to say, if I recall, step charts were ending after the song was already over.
Yes.
Right? So what I'm going to guess is that his CD-ROM drive was queuing up and playing the music faster than expected.
Yeah.
Somehow earlier than expected. So the charts were starting early, or perhaps were playing fast.
I don't know what it was.
Something
wasn't playing
was happening.
correctly.
So the result, though, was that the step charts were desynced by oftentimes a whole count or more. So we're talking like getting up to be like a second late.
It's party time!
Yeah, there were a bunch of them where it's like, this just doesn't even make sense.
Right.
when
So
we're
it's
playing
not like oh, well, I can just kind of adjust, or yeah, I'm getting a bunch of greats or goods, but I'm still doing okay. It was just like, I don't know where these steps are supposed to go, like even what note they're going with. So it's just like, turn your ears off, la la la, and kind of play visually if you can. And it was absolute mess.
Yeah, it just did not work.
So what I learned since then, though, is that the optical drive that was in my MK3, which is broken, for whatever reason, I put it into Tim's MK3, and it seems to work correctly. Now, I'm fairly confident that neither drive is original. Mine definitely isn't, because mine was a DVD drive, of all things. But for whatever reason, it seems to work better. So we're going to try First Dance Stage again.
Well, mine was either not original, or I guess it potentially could have been a later MK3 that shipped with a later release. Because like it has Premiere. Like I I got it with Premiere 3 on it. And Premiere 3 worked fine. Like, it had no sync issues, and from what I understand, like, the later games don't use red band audio, and therefore, like, that specific sync issue is fixed. So I think some of them are still slightly desynced at times, but that's just a bug in the game, not a drive issue.
So I'm expecting that we're still probably going to see some desync issues tonight, but we're talking desync issues in the order of milliseconds as opposed to desync issues in the order of seconds.
Yes.
You know, one of them is like, okay, I'm not getting a good score, or I can kind of adjust to this, and the other one is like, I'm going home.
Yeah, it was painful last week.
It was super, super duper bad. So, anyway, one of the... So, we were looking, actually, before the stream at like, the song list for the game, and it seems like there's only, 15 songs?
15 songs and 4 remixes.
Okay. So, I don't think we're going to bother even doing requests. We're just going to play through it. Because that's...
Yeah, 8 playthroughs should effectively play through everything.
Yeah. So, woo. If we get to the end and we haven't played something that you wanted to hear for some reason, let me know. Like, maybe I forgot, or we missed it, or we didn't do something correctly. I don't know. That's certainly possible. But chances are we're going to play what you're going to ask for just by virtue of the fact that we played them all. So
yeah, there's not a whole lot on it. I think we were talking about it before. We were talking about it over dinner, and like, because each mode you only have 4 songs to choose per set.
Right.
Like, we can literally just do like, okay, we're just gonna play the up left 3 times in a row. We're gonna play the up right the next time, and just go through, and that way we don't accidentally replay the same thing 2 or 3 times. We actually make sure to get everything.
Yeah. There were how many did I say? 4 or 5, or was it 6? It was 6. I think there were 6 songs that were only in easy mode.
I think it was like 4 songs that were only in easy,
only
and
4.
6 songs that had charts in both easy and hard.
Right. That's right. So let me bring up that list so that we'll get those knocked out first.
Well, that's the other question, though. Is, do we want to try and jump around on songs like that, or do we literally just want to play through the game 8 times and just... That will get us through every option in easy and hard.
Well, I'm just thinking, let's start with easy.
Yeah.
And make sure that we hit those 4 that don't have charts in the other, and then move on.
Like I was just thinking, like, do we want to do that, or do you just literally want to play everything and every chart on every song? Because, like I said, that's literally only 8 playthroughs of the game.
You're right.
So,
you're right.
Like, there's not a whole lot. It's small enough that we can just go through.
You're right.
And we'll get some where we play the easy and hard charts, but...
Okay.
Because I know a lot of them, they don't have English titles or anything, so it might be hard to find exactly which ones are which on some of them, too.
Yes, I am equally as illiterate in Korean as I am in Japanese, as a matter of fact. So
same.
All right. Sippy, sippy. But, all right. Easy mode, love forever. I think it's forever love, but yes, and we will definitely do it. I think that'll probably end up being first, because I think that is easy mode, upper left.
I think so.
Number 1. So.
And you have chat on screen this time too.
Yeah, chat's on screen. Although, you know, I'm looking at it, and oh no, it is going up.
It's party time.
It's party time.
Yeah, that is definitely an active chat, the current chat then.
Yep. So, we learned on the last stream that even when you turn off demo sound, the "It's party time" at the beginning of a song still plays at the beginning of the demo portion of a track. So
I wonder if they fixed that in second mix.
I'm gonna
second dance floor.
We should have a friendly wager. Is this an over under? Over is yes, under is no. what was the line? The line is
sometimes
the line is they broke it.
Yeah.
The line is it says it's poopy time.
I'm just curious if that was like if they considered that a bug that they fixed, or if they're just like, no, that's how it's supposed to work. Just leave it like that.
Actually, I forgot. So.
Oh yeah, if you put credits in, then it...
Yeah, I'm gonna actually... wrong button. I'm gonna turn demo sound on. I don't know why I said it like that. Demo sound.
Turn it on.
Turn it on. Because... So pump, annoyingly, if it has a credit, it sits on the title screen forever. Which in newer games means that it plays this relatively short loop over and over. But the title screen in First Dance Floor is silent, so if we want to shut it up, we can just give it a credit, and it'll be fine.
Have it set on like multiple credits per.
No, it should be one credit per player to start. So anyway,
Party time!
Hello to everyone. I'm not going to go through one by one because I think everyone's just saying hello. So hello. Thanks for joining us. And like I said, for those of you that requested something, we're just going to get to it. We're going to play it all. So let's get this thing started. It's party time.
Hit me!
Oops. I gave it too many credits. All right. I gave it too much credit. You think this will work? No, I think you gave it too much credit.
All right. Let's start with baby step, baby step, baby step. Okay. You remember the speed code?
Yes. Hey, we did it. All right, here we go. Do you really want it?
All systems go!
Well, do you?
Party time! Come on!
I already feel so much better.
Oops. As I did bad.
Oh, and a miss.
So, from the test games that I played, I will also say that it does feel like the timing is different. Like, it's not necessarily a sync issue so much as it is. So we're gonna go top left every time. Okay, it's not so much a sync issue so much as it is like where I think the window is smaller. Certainly than modern pop, which is huge. So it's maybe more like DDR, but also just stranger. It's just a very different way that it times. So expect to get a lot of goods and misses that seem wrong.
Yeah, no feeling.
Party time!
많았지만 같이 마치 달콤한 전이같이 하나 되는 우릴 봤지 너를 원해 이 말 전해 나를 너무도 원하는 너만의 눈빛이 내 눈에 정말 너무 원해
나는 너무 저대로 허무 어디도 가지도 않게 할 수도 있어 이제 너 맘에 눈을 감아 아마 너무나 큰 감격에 그런 기쁨에 그래 나는 너무나 행복해
Been from the beginning.
Spin to win, man. All right.
All right, spins are from the beginning too, as well. I did better on
That was me fat footing it.
Yeah, that's when every button on here does something. It's real easy to do.
Check it out, yeah, the hit house scene. Come on, freak it out, the sensation. Body freak, generate the foundation. Inequality, let's stay together, let's live in harmony. Check one. When I come down right to the sun.
That felt weird.
Yeah.
Body freak, generate the foundation. Inequality, let's stay together, let's live in harmony.
Hey, in the same time as the song.
Yay!
That was so much better than last week.
Right.
It's still weird, but it's not just straight up broken.
Yeah, so, like, the question is it still desynced? Yeah, maybe, but, like,
Yeah.
within a tolerable amount.
It's playable, at least.
All right. But yeah, see, now that it has a credit, it will just sit here on this title screen indefinitely.
Nice and quiet.
Yes. Unlike newer ones.
Yes.
Which will play a...
So I think someone in the chat said it was like till one of the, I think Prex 1 or something like that, was the first time they added sound to the title screen.
Oh, yeah? Last time or this time?
Well, like they stayed silent up until. Like,
No, I mean, they said that last time.
Oh, no, this time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat, okay.
Prex 3.
Prex 3. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Long time.
But... Oop.
Oh.
Hit me!
All right. Easy again, I guess.
Yep. I guess we're starting.
So now, this way. Wow, we're like professionals now.
I don't.
Party time!
Before I can put it up on my head,
I don't know that we'll need it.
but no.
사나이 가는 길에 기죽지 마라 없어도 자존심만 지키면
Maybe if I stomp harder.
Bad.
We'll know for sure when we get to our
professional start move.
professional step.
We need a beat.
No goods on either of us though.
Nope. Pass fail. All right. So up here.
Yo, 1 triple 9. Can y'all hear me out there?
I can hear you.
It's party time.
Can you hear me? It's party time.
Y'all need to turn it up. Well, we OG. 이제 나 내가 말하는 건 아직도 달아. 내 가슴이 피고 통을 그렇게 자리하고 나는 내게 있는 나가는 우리 너에 대한 이야기야 나의 목소리야. 널 향해 나를 소원해. 그렇게 나를 원해. 난 너를 원해. 그렇게 나는 없이 난 어두워진 그런 식 속에 헤매는 더 이상 이제 못해. 너의 너보다 소중한 것이란 건 내게 있을 수 없어. 널 사랑해. 너의 모든 걸 나 영원토록 유지할 수 없도록 유지할 수 없도록. Gonna get wicked. When I say west, you say side. Yeah, when I say A, you say E. You're busted. 끝나간 인생들이 사람들은 많았지. 사람만으로 힘든이라 세상은 얘기하지. 하지만 난 변하지. 그렇지 않은 괜히 내가 마음속에 이야기는 사상이 가상해. 너의 너보다 소중한 것이란 건 내게 있을 수 없어. 널 사랑해. 너의 모든 걸 나 영원토록 유지할 수 없도록.
Hey, finished on perfect. Yeah, that one actually seemed very well synced.
Yeah, all the missteps I got were me like actually.
Well, you only got the one, so.
What are we doing this one?
Right. Going around clockwise.
Oh, clockwise. So we're gonna do bottom right now. After us. Might as
I
well.
guess.
That works. I like it.
It's party
as good as
time.
it's as good a plan as any.
Yeah.
I read that wrong.
Hey, we need a beat.
Alright. So yeah, the sync seems fine. The
Yeah.
judgment seems weird.
Yes. But it definitely seems properly synced at least.
Yeah.
Hit me, hit me.
So that it's at least quiet.
Yeah. Did you see I put like a real ass label on the button
Push for credit.
instead of my like hand sharpied little mess that it was before. I was like, oh,
I have a label maker.
I do have a label maker. I was like, oh yeah, I have a label maker.
I need to buy an AC adapter for mine.
Oh yeah?
Like, because it uses 6 AAAs, and I have rechargeables, but every time I want to use it, I usually only have like 4 rechargeables sitting, like, in reserve.
Yep.
So I have to go hunt them down, and it's a pain in the ass. Yeah, I've got the exact same one,
I don't even know how many batteries this thing takes, but I'm gonna guess 6
or at
since
least
you
a very
just said that.
similar one.
3 AAAs.
Nope, 6. There's 3 more beneath them.
Oh, you're right.
That's either the exact same or a very similar model to mine.
Oh well. The batteries are working at least.
Well, I think you can get an AC charger for like under $10 on Amazon. They're not, the little AC adapter for them, they're not expensive. And I don't really, it's not like I'm running around my apartment using it for all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So.
So, EFB32, we will get there. Don't worry. But if we get to the end and we haven't done it yet, then let us know. But at least for now, like, we're just gonna kind of go in order.
Yeah,
And we'll get them all. Oops, shite. Well, I guess we're starting.
So, I'm also not having issues putting in my code right off the bat this time. When last time I was. I don't know if that's actually an issue.
I don't know why that would be caused by the CD-ROM drive,
Don't
but
know what you
who
Well,
knows?
it would be like loading the preview music.
It's party time!
Did we do this song already? This is in demo mode, so I've heard it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
나는 너무 저대로 허무 가지도 가지도 아껴할 수도 있어 이제는 맘에 눈을 감아 아마 너무나 큰 감격에 그런 기분에 그래 나는 너무나 행복해
Very spinny.
So even on this real easy stuff, I'm already like, this is why I like Pump more than DDR. Just because like even in a single easy chart, it's like it gets you moving around within that box.
Yeah.
A lot more, and it just feels it's more fun. In my opinion.
Yeah.
But-
As we go into everything.
yeah.
Party time!
Hey, at least we don't have crazy charts yet. Yeah. I'll be interested to see if I can actually pass every song in this game. Because that's definitely not a thing I can do in Modern Pop.
Modern Pump is a lot harder than this.
Hell yeah. it is. it's kind of like thinking back to like DDR first mix and like Paranoia. It's like Paranoia, 180 beats per minute, so fast. Oh, what was it, rated 8 or whatever?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this is so difficult, and now it's like freaking baby steps.
Well, granted, you were running a much rougher engine with no speed mods. What do you really want?
What do I really want?
Last week it was sync.
Yeah, what do we want? Sync. When do we want it?
Sometime
Later.
around.
Party time!
When do we want it? On beat. You see this little line here? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to decide if that's intentional or if that's like a glitch. And then the question is, if it's not intentional, is it a glitch because of the way the game's playing, or is it a glitch that like they screwed it up and that
I
just is how
screwed
it
the graphic and
Right.
didn't notice, didn't catch it.
Whoops.
Get another thing to look for.
Be quiet. All right. Let me see. Let's take a look at the chat because we have it. So many classic bangers. It's true. They used random sprites and visuals and just wing it before they had their own background animations. Well, I mean, that's what DDR did too.
Yeah.
I mean, not as much here, maybe, but with DDR it made sense because that system just wasn't capable. Although, this being a PC, it's modestly more capable, but it's not like it's a great PC either
No.
from that era.
Yeah, that's... It's like, Pump It Up has always been PC-based, but it's always been low-end PC for the time, and as time's gone on, it's gotten more and more out of date as they release new ones.
Although, to be fair, I mean, this is already 480p.
Yeah.
480p 60 in its very first iteration.
And it has speed mods.
Right, whereas DDR didn't get 480p 60 until Supernova in like 2005, 2006. So it took, DDR like 8 years.
Switching from a PlayStation base to a PlayStation 2 based system.
So, I mean, in that regard, you can kind of understand, like, there's a little bit more muscle, like computing power to work with here, but still, I think they probably use this, which I would say that this background animation engine is probably more advanced than DDR's of the same time.
Yeah.
Although DDR had the dancing characters, which is
that's true.
That part was pretty good. I think that's probably better than this. But these background animations are probably better than DDRs.
Yeah. And they very well may have been reserving system power from the background so that they could do the dancing animation like that. They may have...
Could be.
Like, if they had done more intense, more complicated backgrounds, they might not have been able to run the dancing
Well,
at full speed or something.
I know for instance, one thing about the PlayStation, since original DDR was based on PS1 hardware, is the PlayStation could play full motion video.
Yes.
If that's the only thing it was doing. It couldn't do anything else. So trying to get it to play the video underneath the
Playing music while also running a game engine.
Right, that it couldn't do. But that's why, like, the intro movie in DDR, the early ones, it's like full screen and that's it. There's no other graphics. It's just the movie. And then they had to use something else for the backgrounds. And it wasn't until we got up into, gosh, when did they start using real Max, I think. DDR Max is where we started getting like video behind as backgrounds.
Okay.
And the only reason they were doing that, like, they had the hardware to do it before then, but it's because they were using all the hardware on the I/O board to get that done. Like, they were offloading it to another system, a custom system of theirs, because again, the PlayStation by itself couldn't do it.
Physically wasn't capable.
Right. And that was something that in like first and second mix, the system was much closer to just a regular PlayStation, whereas later on they had I won't say a lot more hardware, but more hardware to work with.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Fun fact: what do you really want? Is Sonic C2, and the song itself is a wild ride. You are correct. I can remember that one got picked in a lot of tournaments. Remember?
Yeah.
As like the... Actually, wasn't it... God, was it Yohei would pick it on Jason because Jason hated it? Was that the thing?
I can't remember if that was a song. I know that there was a song.
Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. There was...
No, I think there was at least one song that, like, Yohei specifically was really good at.
Right.
And, yeah, Jason did not like.
And
I mean,
thought
that
it
was like
that
me
one.
with Join the Party Crazy. If I was up against someone who was just... I knew was just way better than me. I'm like, all right, Join the Party Crazy. I can full perfect this, pretty much. Just because, for whatever reason, like, I was decent at that. Well, actually... Part of it was that I used to play. When I started playing, I was playing at home on a Cobalt Flux, so I got used to playing on hard pads and socks. And so that's when I
remember
first
you used to be a
transitioned.
sock player.
Yeah, because I think there were, if I recall, there might have been some tournaments that like all right, even after I was wearing shoes, like join the party hard, kick off one shoe.
Yep.
There we go. Because then I could
spin
just
it. Yep.
spin.
Yep. Oh, you didn't do it Louisville style?
Just sit. Like that was my go-to cheese song. If, like I said, legitimately I knew it's like this person is just multiple levels better than anything normally they'll beat me on. This is how I can get at least. It was a way I could get a win on my pick, then they'd get a win on their pick, and it would go to a random tiebreaker and they'd win.
Yeah, there we go. Just wanted to make sure that we're still. I forgot to bring up my stat panel.
To make sure everything's
I was like,
streaming properly.
Is everything working? Looks like it is. Plus, Belinda said she's like, I think I'm going to stream too, and I'm like, I think that'll work. So I got totally boned on a stream the other day because I was uploading a video and it hadn't finished, and I started the stream, and it was just like I had maybe 3 megabits up to work with on left, and it was just like, bleh. But I think if we're both limiting ourselves to 6 megabit up,
it should be good.
it should be fine. Like,
Do you have like 20 up or something like that?
yeah, it's
or-
like 20 or 25, I think.
Because I think mine's 20 up. It's like
Yeah.
it's enough that you can do a stream or two.
Right.
If you're not doing anything else.
But the problem that I had before was the upload was unlimited.
Yes.
So it was just trying to suck anything it
Yep.
could, and so it was running at probably 15 or 20 megabit, and then my stream comes in and it's like, hello, and it's like, fuck off. And yeah, it was running at like 10 frames a second, and everything kind of just busted, and then we I ended up just the upload had like 10 more minutes left on it, so I was just like, hey, I'm gonna just stop and I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Sorry, but anyway, let's see. Hey Fuchsia, Brian knows how to spin on this game too. Yeah, this game spins you.
Easier.
This game spins you a lot more than DDR does, or if you let it anyway.
Yeah, I'd say it's easier to spin on.
Yes.
Like the chart, if the chart has a spin in it, it's a lot easier to execute because it's more smaller motions to complete the spin versus a very tight. Well, really, that's the big thing. Instead of just spinning around basically in the middle, you're actually spinning around the pad. So
I think like just this layout of steps just provides for a lot more interesting and varied like movement patterns around in the space.
Well, like I said, like a DDR spin, your center is basically still right in the middle, whereas Pump It Up, you're actually rotating around the outside of the stage.
And Pat says, you remember someone talking about a Pump series that also has a dancing character. I don't know anything about that, but...
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, and then to kind of tie that into Adrian's question from a little bit earlier, what other PIU series do I have, because I forgot? The answer is, I think I have them all, but I guess we're going to find out as I move along here.
With the exception of XX.
Yes,
because it
I
won't
don't.
run.
I don't have double X because it will not run on this cabinet. Technically, it will not run on this monitor. Is really the holdup, and I am not interested in replacing this monitor. So that's I'm just gonna live with the older stuff.
Just bring a TV down and just put it right here on a little stand, right?
You know, if I had more room right in here, which I'm hoping after I kind of remodel things around in here, that maybe I can move things around to be a little bit better. I would consider getting an outboard monitor that I could plunk in.
Yeah, and you
if I had the space. But
you can run it on a 32-inch. It's playable. It's a little small. Like the modern HD pumps, like it's a little small, but it is playable, especially if you have it up relatively close.
Yeah.
And those are small and light enough that you could easily get one there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I actually have a real like low profile like vertical stand that I can put a monitor on. The issue is that like in this where the machine is set up right now, the stage cannot go back up anymore because there's a door right there that I wouldn't be able to open. And then the cabinet can't go back anymore because there's a wall there. In fact, behind the cabinet, I installed one of those. Son of a. Wait. So it won't let me do it until I get into the.
Oh, that's right.
And now I can bail on it. Okay. But I actually installed a recessed outlet in this wall behind the cabinet to give myself like an extra like couple inches that I could shove the cabinet back closer to the wall, because it is plugged into the outlet behind that's directly behind it. I guess I could have, if I had thought about it, I could have like run a cable from another outlet over and then plugged it in at the side and shoved the cabinet all the way up against the wall. Although technically I don't really want to do that because there are two exhaust fans.
Yeah, there are cooling fans, and
in
if
the
they are completely cut off, your cabinet can overheat. As saw from X-Site.
That's what?
Wasn't that what like their Exceed 2 machine when it died? Wasn't like one of the fans died? Like the thing
Who knows?
Something died in it, but I think like the cooling fans had given out or something. And
yeah,
overheated was the assumed issue, at least. That's what I had been told. So,
well, I either did not know that or did not remember that.
Then again, I mean, it was Schaefer, so they took it off to their warehouse and fucked with it. So it very well could have been something else, and they just gave him false information. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, the machine came back with a handprint on the monitor glass on the inside of the glass, so we couldn't clean it.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. Which, by the way, speaking of those exhaust fans on the back of the cabinet, if you do a search in YouTube for Jiffy Pump, like Jiffy Pop, except Jiffy Pump, and on my channel, you'll find a video of when I first got this cabinet. So I bought this brand new in box. So I'd taken the box lid off, and the cabinet was wrapped in like a gigantic plastic bag, basically.
Oh.
And just as a joke, I kind of lifted one corner of the plastic bag and just plugged the machine in and turned it on. And so the bag wasn't sealed; it was like open at the bottom. But basically, it just sucked air in and then blew it out the exhaust fan, and it just inflates this bag. And I took a video of it, and that is Jiffy Pump in my channel from, God, it's probably 12 years ago or 15 years. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're looking for a dumb, like 30-second video to have a chuckle at, that's something you can look at. Anyway. Do 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 do. Wow, let's see. Just a... God, is that... Just a night... Is that 1990 on? I can't even... I'm sorry, I'm failing to understand how I'm supposed to deal with the ones in your name. But you said, is this first version of PIU? The answer is yes. And then Tengu says, think there's a dancing character in OBG or OBGSE in Remix Station. Interesting. I'll be interested to see that. So, gosh, do you remember at Great Times, was that OBG regular or OBGSE?
I don't remember.
I think it was just regular OBG.
I think I only ever played there one time when it was OBG.
So
and one time after they upgraded.
Yeah, up until the stream last week when we were playing First Dance Stage, the earliest game of Pump that I'd ever played was OBG. It wasn't the first game of Pump that I played. I played the premiere first, but then an arcade near us had gotten an older machine in, and so OBG was the oldest thing that I'd ever played until, basically now, where I'm playing first, and then hopefully next we'll be playing second. But I would say from first up to Exceed, I have played 2 or 3 of those games.
I've not played a whole lot of them.
And that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I was chatting with somebody on Discord earlier today, and I was like, I know that a lot of especially the very early games, they're kind of janky and they're really small, so I'm not necessarily playing them because I'm expecting them to be great. I'm playing them, really for the novelty of being like, oh, this is where we came from, basically.
Well, if you play them in order, you get to see how they kind of evolved over time, and
that's what I'm looking.
What they fixed, what they broke or tried out, and they were like, no, let's not do that.
And this is, maybe I'll feel a little bit better about. Maybe I'll feel a little more confident about this after I, look at these. But I feel like Pump tried a lot more different things than DDR. DDR stayed pretty consistent historically.
Yeah, well, they changed up the interface a lot over the years too.
Right, but but the basic game itself and things. Plus, DDR rarely changed step charts.
Yeah.
But Pump, I know, does dump step charts along the way. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you on like some of the like when you get up to like double X, there are charts where it's like, cause at a certain point, like for a while you had easy, hard, crazy, and then you had freestyle, nightmare. But like at a certain point, they just like we have more charts than that, so we're just not even gonna give them names. We're just gonna give them difficulty ratings. There are charts or songs where you have like 8 or 9 different charts for a single song.
Okay, I'm gonna try and speed through some of this chat so that we can get back to the game, because I think we only have one more baby step to go, and then we'll have gone through that. Let's see. CRT for the win. I won't disagree with that, especially on games that were intended for it. Ristar. Ooh, there's a Pac-Man Museum Plus. Sweet. Thanks for letting me know, because I remember Pac-Man Museum and that was fun. So I didn't know there was a plus of it, but that's cool. Night Saturn, hello, and I did actually I didn't watch the whole video, but I did see a little snippet of that video that GameStar did with the red cab and the monitor that was, I mean, like quite literally bolted to the front of it. I'm kind of reluctant to do that. I know you can do it without like making any permanent modifications to a cabinet.
Basically, I know, because I looked into it for my cabinet, but then I ended up just going with a freestanding monitor.
Yeah.
Basically, you remove the front glass of the monitor, and then you just build a jig that fits into the monitor place, and you just put a VESA mount to it.
Yeah. I mean, I had to do something kind of similar to that for Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Now, I was using the correct size and shape monitor, so it fit in the cavity correctly, but I was replacing an arcade LCD monitor with a television.
Yeah.
And the arcade monitor did not use VESA mounts. It used its own whatever it is. So I had to kind of adapt that.
I don't think I helped out with that project, but I remember you doing it.
Yeah.
And I've also seen, like, I have seen where people, I've seen different varying levels of quality where people, put a
monitor
flat screen
inside.
monitor behind the glass. Yes.
Right.
I've seen the really shitty ones where they put, like, a 24-inch maybe, and, like, it cuts off the sides with some marquee, and it looks like garbage. I have seen where people, I think you can get some like 32-inch.
There's a particular size that's wider but the same height.
Yeah.
Right, and then if you run it in 4x3...
I think it's the 32-inch, like certain one, if you basically remove the actual bezel.
Right.
So if you're running the bare panel at that point, it just fits within. But then you can either box it in or get replacement front glass.
I have seen...
And custom...
I have seen both of those. And like I said, I mean, I've seen some good mods, and I've seen some, bolt-on mods that I would never, I've seen some bolt-on mods that are reversible. But, go on.
You could just hang it from chains.
Oh, God.
I just remembered that.
I've seen that one.
There's someone, they just literally like hung a TV with like chains from hooks in the ceiling to hang in front of their machine.
Yeah.
So you have a drop ceiling, you could rig something up.
Well, I did have that that ceiling mounted plasma over in the other corner.
That's
before.
True, yeah.
But anyway,
that was better quality than just free swinging.
At the end of the day, I don't really want to mod this cabinet, even if it's not permanent. But I would be mildly interested in just using like I said, an outboard monitor.
Yeah.
But I would need more space, because like right in this cramped space, like I can't really put a monitor between the cabinet and the stage and have enough
right here
room. Yeah, it would just be like, yeah. So
jump on the front arrows
until something like that is possible. I'm not going to be doing double X, but quite frankly, that leaves me
the entire rest of the catalog.
20 something games.
Yeah.
It feels like to play. So I don't feel like I'm like hurting. And you know, if I want to play Double X, I go to round 1.
Yeah.
So, da da da. Did I see the picture you sent on Discord? I didn't. I don't have Discord up right now. You think the remix character's in second? Do you remember OBG introducing proper BGAs? Okay. Alright, cool. Prex to remove half double. Introduce Nightmare. Yeah. Night Saturn. Conservative when it comes to intended purposes for games and their design. Yeah. Like for me, I know I've talked about this before. I like to try and keep things as original as possible. And sometimes that doesn't mean that... Sometimes original I don't necessarily think is better. It's just original.
Yeah.
You know, like, for instance, you know, I know a lot of people mod their DDR stages, you know, to bring the panels up level, you know, and then they countersink the screws and stuff like that. You know, do I think that is a better experience? Actually, yeah, I do. Would I ever do it to my machine? No, I would never do it. In the case of Pump, they went ahead and there is an official, you know, like the newer cabinets are bracketless and they are pretty even. And those things are amazing.
And you can get an upgrade kit. Like, they are a drop-in replacement. I think it usually, from what I've seen, it generally costs around $600-700 to get a full kit with all new panels, new brackets, everything to hold it.
I would consider that for this cabinet, but I probably wouldn't do it, only in that while yes, that is an official thing, it doesn't. It was not an official thing for this cabinet style.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the fact that they sell the upgrade parts implies, because, like, you know, they had, you know, Prime 2 would have been, you know, some of the newer mixes would have been on it. But yeah, like it wasn't available when this was bought. It does change the way it plays, and realistically, you don't really need it until you get into the really high level stuff. Like there's
actually,
some of the,
you know, I find that it's great for freestyle.
Oh yeah,
it is really nice for freestyle because you're not getting caught up on the brackets all the time.
Well, I know that there are some of the really high level, the modern stuff. You just cannot play on these old pads like this because it assumes that you have the new style where you can very easily multi-step, because you'll be just in runs hitting multiple arrows at the same time. Like it's just at this point it's built into the gameplay.
Yeah, and hitting triples way easier. And stuff like that.
Because I know someone who they said they went and played on a machine that it had the old style pads, but one of the newer mixes on it, and he. Like Jason, I think it was, who was telling me he tried playing some of their high level stuff, and he
can't do it.
Yeah, and the stuff that he can play on the modern pads just fine, but he was just completely missing things because he can't bracket the same.
I believe it. All right, we've made it to the end of the chat, so let's
bottom left.
Get back. Bottom left. Yeah. Oh, you know, you can put the speed mod zone on this screen too.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
All right.
So I think technically it's like the difficulty is 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last run would have been the hardest difficulty.
I love that the tempo on this is 90.06 beats per minute. Because 600ths of a beat is like, whoa, that did something weird. It feels like it's saying.
It didn't like desync it, but...
Thank you for that. Word to your design.
Okay, it's a groove.
It's another party time.
Party time!
I love that there's literally random text in that graphic. It said something about like the gross domestic product of South Korea or something.
Didn't step there.
Me neither.
It's a groove.
CD. Hey, good buddy.
Funky tonight.
Classic.
Do you want a funky music?
God, how many times have I seen this freestyle?
Party time!
Tonight is the party time.
Tonight is party time.
Oh, I am a lot heavier than I used to be.
Bad.
Oh. I'm very out of shape, by the way.
Hey,
No, I'm-
we need a beat.
I think I am legitimately 95 pounds heavier than I was back when I used to play actively. So it's like, let's just go down. Oh no, I weigh a lot more. Never mind. Yeah, not easy to drop and come back.
I am significantly heavier than I was when I back in like the 2006 era. But you know, it's funny. I'm thinking about it, like Pump has a lot more people do like stunt work in Pump more than DDR. I did most of my stunt work in DDR early, but then because I'm, you know, generally about a decade older than most of the other people that I was playing with, you know, by the time I'd been playing DDR for 5 or 6 years and started playing Pump then, you know, now I'm quite a bit older than like normal that age, and I'm like, and I had already injured myself doing stunt work in DDR, and so I was real reluctant to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, I injured myself a little bit doing some work and Pump It Up. Damn near broke my back on this machine at one time.
Jeez, dude. So yeah, I haven't done a lot of the, you know, like the bar grabs and the handstands and all the crazy stuff that a lot of people do on Pump.
No, like I said, it was legitimately over a decade ago and about 100 pounds lighter. So it's like, let's see if I get I can't do that.
Good night. Yeah, I'm probably like 25 or 30 pounds heavier than I was back then, but like I said, by then I already wasn't doing that kind of stuff, so I've got like no experience on that. Let's see. Nahuen, sick moves. Hey, thanks. Julius, you got to run. Okay, thanks for joining us. Hopefully, we'll see you next time. And like I said, there's a lot more classic games before we get into anything modern. So I'm gonna try and just run them in order. Pichu, can't wait till a stream of Exceed. Oh boy, that will be fun.
So Exceed 2 was the one that I learned on. That was like my...
Yeah, me
That's
too.
the most nostalgic one for me.
Me too.
Like I played Exceed before I played Exceed 2, but...
Same, but very little.
Yeah.
And then you and I played
times.
crap out of Exceed 2.
Well, especially because like not
Excite.
only like they got that machine when Exceed 2 came out,
Right.
and then had it until NXA was out or something like that before they got rid of the machine outright. Like they never upgraded it.
Yeah.
The game, the hardware died at one point at like, I think it was like midway through Zero's lifespan. And so that's when they took the machine off site and they were like, we're going to repair it and send it back. Like we got the word that they were going to do that. And they're like, oh, awesome. Maybe they're going to get a Zero kit. No, they bought a used Exceed 2 kit from someone and put it back in there because it was cheaper. So,
You know, what you gonna do? Anyway, Adrian, your favorite song? Are we talking about Funky Tonight? Probably. I think that was about when that came in. Not a bad pick. And did I insert a coin on the machine? The answer is effectively yes, but no. I have a button on. There's a button here that you can just push, and it's effectively the same as inserting a coin. The reason being, like what we were talking about before, with the modern mixes, if the machine has a credit on it, which unfortunately includes free play, it will just sit on the title screen indefinitely. And on the newer mixes, the title screen has an audio loop, but those audio loops are usually like 5 or 10 seconds long, and so it'll just get stuck playing that forever until somebody actually plays it. So instead of leaving it in free play, we leave it in coin play and just have a button to just credit it up. So that's what that's about. Music, okay, E. Also playing Pump It Up 2. Hooray! In the Philippines. Very nice.
I've heard Pump It Up is really popular out there.
Pump It Up is really popular everywhere except here.
Well, I mean, like certain markets, like Pump It Up, I think had a better worldwide, like distribution of the machines officially. Because DDR, I mean, realistically, like in the U.S., DDR got DDR USA, and then Supernova was the next machine they got. officially. And so, like, everything else were imports, whereas Pump It Up was just like, Premiere was the first international, and they're just like, well, sell it to whoever.
Yep.
But, like, I know Pump It Up is traditionally, at least back when we were playing, I don't know if the demographics have changed, but I remember back in the day, like, it had a pretty good sized scene in the Philippines, of course, South Korea. Mexico had a really popular
Mexico
scene,
and South America in general.
I was saying Mexico in particular seemed to be really big on it, and then, like, across South America, there were a bunch of pockets of really popular areas.
Right.
And then the U.S., it was more DDR than Pump It Up for the most part, but...
Yeah. And Shrimp, what if I told you it doesn't happen anymore on Prime 2 and Double X? I think I knew that. As I recall, that was actually the influence of Infinity.
Oh.
Because the Infinity team was super annoyed by that whole behavior for the last 20 years or
there were a few things from, cause, I mean, the Infinity team came from Pro 2 then Infinity,
right?
And there were a few actually like even if you weren't fans of those games versus mainline, there were a few really good things, like the bars being the newer style bars that don't get wobbly and awful. That directly came out of it. Apparently, like that was something that Kyle Ward, like when he went and visited them and stuff, was like, I want you to change this. The bars suck.
Yeah.
And that was something they were like, okay, and they did it.
Right. And apparently that was something that they changed for Infinity, was to get rid of, to make the title loop obey the demo sound off command. And so I think it still maybe will get stuck on the screen, but if you have demo sound off, it doesn't play it. I do have Prime 2, so I think I do remember experiencing that when I've played Prime 2 here. Obviously, that's not a thing that you necessarily experience in an arcade. I think that's probably the reason why that problem, that behavior persisted for so long, is because in a real arcade environment, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, either demo sound is on or demo sound is off, and people are playing it, and who cares?
Yeah.
But in a home environment where you actually want it to STFU, it gets really obnoxious. But yeah, from what I understand, the Infinity team was like, let's change this, and then that was something that got backported into mainline Pump. Which, when did Infinity come out? Like, where in the sequence? Was it around Prime era? Or was it in the Fiesta era?
Oh gosh, I don't recall exactly where it came in there. I'm trying to think. It came out with the CX cabinets.
Between Fiesta 2 and Prime 1. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because there was... Latitude had that CX Infinity cabinet that they got.
That was a TX.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the big boy cabinet.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I digress. You remember seeing a video of Mexican event, I think Prex 3, someone was playing Extravaganza Nightmare. Yeah, sounds right. Infinity still has the best UI and UX. I haven't played it in a while. I traditionally did not care for like the ITG UI or the Pro
UI.
The
Pro was...
But I definitely remember Infinity feeling way better than either of those.
Now I might be wrong. From what I recall, from what I've heard, like, I mean, Pro and Pro 2 was more or less the In the Groove guys building a Pump It Up game, and so the interface and the gameplay style, like a lot of it that was built for it, felt and played more like In the Groove. Hence why it was Pump It Up Pro. It was, harder timing and stuff. Infinity, I think someone told me like it was
Infinity definitely felt more like Pro, felt more like Pump than it did.
Yeah, I think
like
the Pump It Up
DDR.
developers stepped in and like it was like a collaboration on that one, and which is why it acted more like Pump. It felt more like Pump. The interface was, the game as a whole felt more like mainline Pump, whereas the Pro series felt more like a Pump It Up skin on In the Groove.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, like, personally, like I said, as far as in the groove compared to 1 or 2 compared to DDR. I don't really care for the interface. Pro 1 or 2 compared to Pump It Up. I don't really care for the interface. Infinity, I haven't really spent a lot of time with Infinity, but the time that I spent with it, I enjoyed. So yes, I agree. It really made it good.
Yeah, it felt like they were basing it off of what was at that point a fairly well established Pump It Up UI interface with modifications, like bringing in some of the good aspects of like what the Pro Series offered, and some of the customization of options and stuff like that, and menu systems.
But all right, so shall we try
Hit me!
professional step hard mode?
That's actually kind of useful. Since you don't have to like do it when you're on you can burn down that timer.
All right, so we're just gonna do the same thing. Start go clockwise.
Or we could do 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I think that's the way to the difficulty stack. But
Okay.
it shouldn't. We're gonna play it all either way.
Right.
Party time! Check it out, yeah, the hit house scene. Come on, freak it out, the sensation. Body freak, generate the foundation.
All right, I know we played this.
Let's be together, let's live in harmony.
there are-
Check one. When I come down right to the sun. Body freak, generate the foundation. Inequality, let's stay together, let's live in harmony.
Starting a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the judgment and the timing is straight. The sync is definitely better than last time.
Way better.
Like I can tell what. I can at least tell what note or what note each step goes with.
Well, it's almost like actually difficult, like, because that's the hardest difficulty in this game. But maybe the difficulty doesn't follow a pattern.
Well, let's just keep with the upper left for now.
Another true heart. Another a true heart.
Another a true heart. Whatever that means. Oh boy, let's jump. Shin splints.
Never liked how jumpy that song's charts are.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll actually make, if we go clockwise, Ignition Starts will be the last one we play.
Great. First song 101, blast.
Party time!
Yeah.
사나이 가는 길에 기죽지 마라 어서도 자존심만 지키며 눈물 따윈 내게 없을 거야 그저 안녕이란 말하고 쓰린 눈물이 삼키며 yeah. 그녀를 두고 돌아섰던 마지막 뒷모습 내가 봐도 멋있었어 살고 봄에 죽는 날 이제와 우짜하게 붙잡을 순 없잖아 맨몸으로 부딪혔던 내 삶에 끝까지 이별쯤은 괜찮아
Fell apart at the end there.
Game over.
Hit me!
They got some walls with the SMSSC. I kind of understand what that means.
This whatever Stepmania version became Stepmania 5.
Yeah.
Because that's what ITG and the Pro were based off of, or built on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity definitely felt like mainline pump, whereas the Pro Series did not.
Right. Agreed. You love doing the spins of this song. You mentioned it, but one time when their glasses crystals flew off. Yeah, I think you said that last week actually. Because I remember telling
you were
a similar
talking about
story where I just like grabbed my whole glasses and just flung the whole frames and all across the arcade. Playing Starian and broke your pants. Oh no!
I think I ripped at least 2 pairs of pants. Like I think a pair of shorts and a pair of pants, and I might have done a third one back when I used to freestyle and stuff.
I saw somebody do a knee drop on DDR and hit one of the bracket
I've done
screws.
that.
Yeah, and bust their knee open. It was like bleeding down their leg.
I've knee dropped, and because I was sweating, I slid into the bracket and got a nice straight cut on my knee.
Oh no!
Actually, I ripped my pants. Actually, yeah, I ripped my pants at USPF in 07. Because I had
I remember
that really cheap pair. Like I bought a cheap pair of costume pants, and that's why that was actually the first and only time I ever wore those was on the performance. I didn't do any of the practice runs in it because I bought them. It's like these are gonna fucking tear when I play. Because I think I wore my regular underwear as well as like a heavy duty pair of boxers, and then I wore the pants because I knew they were going to rip going into it.
God, who all was in our room that year? Because I remember it was you and me and Shireen, and I thought there was at least one other person in there.
I don't think so.
No, it was just the three of us?
No, because it was that one. Because when it came to the game day, like the bus was leaving at a certain time, and like we were like, okay, bus is leaving in like 6 or 7 minutes. We should head out there. And we were like, went out front 5 minutes before the bus was supposed to leave, and everyone was gone, and the bus wasn't there. And then
this is coming back to me. Yes.
Joe came out. He came out like right behind us, and he was like, "Where'd the bus go?" And as he like started texting people, and they're like, "Oh shit, we thought we had everyone on the bus, so we left early." Because that was the 4 of us ended up driving. Like you drove us all there because the 4 of us were left behind. But he was in a different room, but he was the other one that came out. And like we were all there before the scheduled leave time. They just left early.
No love for the Indiana crew. So.
Well, yeah.
But anyway. All right, let's see. Yeah, I've seen many a garment and body part torn playing dance games for sure. Don't understand why they left 4 arrows at the end. That's always fun. You just boom.
Yeah.
Or you cheese it, right? Nowadays, because you can just like boom. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a modern, like when they loosened up the timing, you could do that.
So I've noticed from watching this visually that arrows that are, like a little bit past the container or a little bit before that I hit are often goods or misses, and I know on Modern Pump those are perfects or greats.
Yeah.
So
the timing tighter, and
the timing is a lot tighter in this than Modern, even though again, are there still sync issues? Maybe. Although absolutely nothing like what we were seeing last week. But we're still not getting as high a scores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just because the timing is so different than what we're used to. That, and I'm actually not that good anyway. So but that's another story entirely. A remix and extra with a quintuple note. Yeah. Or we can always just play raw.
Struggle to bracket on the old pad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to bracket on the new ones.
Oh yeah, the new ones are really the old one. Like you could do it, but you generally kind of had to stomp it and
like rock your foot real quick.
Yeah, and you had to make sure you had like really flexible shoes.
Mm-hmm. And that's also one where like having slightly larger feet doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me!
So, we're ready for the right corner?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't do the thing here.
Oh well.
I'll let you. Face is so good.
It's party time!
And if you know what song you're gonna pick, you have time to do the codes in there.
Alright, maybe I shouldn't fuck around so much. Got a little bit of a barbecue burp there. That's good. Ugh.
Yeah, I know you can.
All right. Hour and a half. Not bad.
It's party time.
Dance music.
Okay, it's a groove.
What does that say? It says, hurry up, pick a song, idiot.
It's party time.
So I noticed a few times where the scroll kind of went a little jerky, kind of like it was speeding up or slowing down just a little bit. And
Hey, we need a beat.
I'm wondering, so Tiramazi was telling me that this game doesn't have a way to like resync. It just starts the song and hopes for the best. Because unlike
Yeah.
DDR, which I know if DDR something happens, it will try and resync. Like I've watched DDR speed up the arrows or slow them down or even just skip whole chunks to get back on sync. If like it has a read error in the disk that it recovers or whatever, and it has to do that. But I don't, at least according to Tiramazi, this game doesn't do that. So I'm wondering if those like weird hesitations and jerkiness is them in the step chart trying to like that's part of the step chart, and they're actually trying to get it right back, to get it back because it's drifted a little bit.
I don't know. Yeah, because it didn't feel like it like desynced as it went on.
Right, it didn't feel wrong. It just felt, but I could visually see that it was doing something weird. And that's probably also how we get, that 90.06 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just, or 02 or whatever, where it's just like, okay, well, this was the speed where it felt right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Poop note skins. Oh man, snowmen are straight up. So I am horrible with like. Well, I remember what was the one? It was in Exceed 2 was
Dignity Sheep.
No. I mean that is a thing, but it was the card one. There's a name for it.
Yeah, like a flower card scan or something.
Something like that. I remember, like, I couldn't read that for shit. I'm real bad at reading skins for some reason. In fact, for a long time, I always played Pump in old skin, like the original skin, the solid red blue, because that just worked for me. I'm at the point now where, like, whatever the default skin of the game, I'm usually fine with.
Well, and some of them are better than others.
Yeah, but yeah, when they aren't arrows anymore, I'm just like, whoop, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Do I know if Extra is the first game? You're asking. Okay, I'm so glad you're asking amongst the chat because I don't freaking know. And thank you for. Yeah, I know. I know Extra was developed by a different team because it plays different, but I didn't know.
OBG in event mode kind of has a side to side. So in event mode on OBG,
that's right, because you were playing with it last week.
It puts the songs, because it gives you access to all songs and all charts, and it puts the 2 songs in the top 2, and you scroll through them with the bottom 2 at a time. So you just scroll those, like, next 2, next 2, next 2. So that's sort of a side-to-side, but it's not like the modern style where you're actually scrolling and selecting with the middle. Oh.
Well, I guess let's just do it. My bad. Oh.
So, bottom right?
Bottom right, yeah.
What do you really want? That monochrome.
I want more colors. That's true. This is so much more playable than it was
Oh,
last
yeah.
week.
It's playable.
Right.
Whereas before, it just wasn't.
Like a cat. It sounds off key.
As long as it's on sync.
Right. I guess that's true.
This one was like
It's party time!
Broken.
Coming back to you like one more time, cause you make me feel with another good one. Oh yeah, what you think about that? Bring it on down with the baby like that. I'll really wanna let you know. For a long time I've loved you so. Come on baby, run away with me. You're not guaranteed we're gonna look after me. Ha 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 ha.
my timing was way off on that one. I was struggling at the beginning to get the beat down. All right.
Hey, we need a
Oh, we
beat.
passed.
We passed. I'll take it. Oh, we got one more.
Oh, right.
Synthy pop.
Thank you, Banya.
It's party time!
What you doing there, Banya?
I can't tell if this is desync or just weird.
I think it's just weird.
It's like upbeats. Whew. Hanging on for dear life here.
Why don't you just get up and dance, man?
I was out long before you.
Close enough. I'll take it.
Yeah, I think at some point it wasn't right on. It was, yeah, it was running on some weird parts of the song there.
Nehuen, you wonder if there's clear footage of Techno Motion. Man, if I had a cabinet, I would totally do it, but I definitely don't. So, I've never played Techno Motion. I've been present in a room with a broken cabinet twice, but I have yet to actually.
I have seen like individual Techno Motion, like one player side pads go up for sale.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever. No, I think I did see one time there was a full Techno Motion cabinet that popped up on like an eBay auction or something. But most, like the handful of other times I've seen sells, it's always just been like one pad or something that someone happened to have.
I've never gotten an opportunity to actually play it. When there's not enough pollination, we need a beat. Cute. Cute. I love it.
Yeah, Seed 2 having flower cards. Yep.
Yep.
Flower skin.
Yeah, I'm miserable at it. Can't play it for
Soccer
shit.
ball is more of a mess than flower. Yeah.
I believe you, but I never played it. Or I don't remember it if I did. Went to Nashville, saw a DDR clone, but it was decorated in the body. Quest Adventure Science. Oh my goodness. Decorated Adventure Science Center. Didn't have to make a blend with everything else. Yeah. I've seen some decorated cabinets. Some of them look okay. Some of them not so much. Sometimes the microphone text picks up something within your room. That's good. I was going to say Google, but there is actually a Google Home in the room, so I shouldn't say that. So I could safely say Hey Alexa or Hey Siri or Xbox, because none of those are within earshot. But
Speaking of Google Home, because I was off today, off work, and so I stayed up last night. I was up kind of late, just dicking around with some video games and stuff. And it's like, all right, before going to bed, turned off my weekday alarms and had it set to come back on next week. And it's like, all right, didn't set any of my alarms. Went to bed. I forgot that I have a Google Home routine set. So at 5:30, my lights come on full and my speaker sets itself to 60% volume and starts playing music.
Oops.
And so it's like I kind of woke up. I was like, hello?
I've noticed, I never realized this before, but there's a lot of play in these panels. Like, they shift in the frame quite a bit. The reason I noticed that is when I was working on the backgrounds for the overlays for the stream, I was working with a couple of different videos, and I applied the same transform settings to get it to be the right size, and I'm doing a little bit of a perspective thing to make it be flat rather than, because this is a little bit tipped back, but there's nothing I can do about that. And things were just everything would line up, but a panel would go goop, goop, goop,
because you
goop,
stepped on it,
and I was like,
takes.
oh, yep. So I ended up having to redo the video all in one shot, where I was just okay, record, run away, and then operate the thing over here without stepping on the stage, and I was like, okay, now it works. But anyway.
Yeah, and I've seen people, that's something people will also mod. They'll add in some shims along the edges so that it doesn't move back and forth as much.
Yeah. So, because this machine was bought new, I've actually never done anything to it. Mm-hmm. There's been, I think I've opened one panel. I think there were two. I think I've opened two panels. One time because one sensor wasn't working right. So I went in and just
like that?
it just wasn't registering. Okay. And so I just went in and unplugged it, plugged it back in, it was fine. Cool. And then another one where, and you can actually, I don't know if any of them right now, but I was seeing a weird shadow because one of the sensor wires was sticking out in a way, and it was getting lit by the light, and it was casting a weird shadow on the panel, and I was like, that looks terrible. So I opened it up and just moved the wire out of the way, and it was fine. But that's the only thing I've done. Otherwise, these are literally bone stock pads.
Well, and ideally, you shouldn't have to do anything when they're new.
I mean, yeah, it's not a US DDRX cabinet.
Yeah.
Choke, cough, cough.
Or a Betson cabinet.
Those weren't so bad.
And they weren't. The pads were all right.
They were fine.
It was a known issue. There were multiple reports of machines being set at shipping with the speakers broken.
Oof.
Just not working.
Well, that's good.
I think the one that because they put in one at Excite briefly while they had the Pump It Up machine gone, and I think it had issues. They were like,
well, I don't remember that at all.
Because they took out Exceed 2 and they stuck in a break because Supernova had just come out, so they put a Supernova cabinet And I think like the subwoofers were broken on it off the bat, like they just didn't work or something like that. And so they just pulled that back. Like they had it there very briefly, pulled it back, and then pump it up back in. So
I must have missed that.
but there were there were multiple. I remember multiple reports of machines being set up and like either the subwoofers or the tops or the speakers just didn't work off the bat. Like,
well, that's
like the
cool.
top speakers, at least you have the excuse of like, well, you have to plug it in between the cabinet and the marquee. But the subwoofers, like, you shouldn't ever have to touch the wiring on that. It should all be ready to go from the factory.
Sometimes when it comes to ranking screen after you do your dance moves and the dancing step, listen to a big boom with all the lights flashing, everything when you get a rank A. Give you a good jump on it. Slowly starts making a loud noise. I think I'm missing something from earlier here, but anyway, I'm just going to move on. I'm going to assume you all are talking amongst yourselves, which is great. Try to do Beethoven virus. I think that's we're too early for that yet.
Yep. Had headphones on so Siri didn't activate.
Yeah, that was the greatest back like when the Xbox One first came out and people like changed their gamer tag to Xbox sign out or Xbox turn off, and then they'd like intentionally do shitty things in multiplayer games, and then like people would yell at them and it would fuck up their Xbox.
Well, there was, I mean, I know famously, like there was a South Park episode where they fucked with people. They I think went and gave commands for like Alexa and Google, and like they added like dildos to people. They basically gave them commands to add like dildos to their shopping cart. They didn't tell it to check out. Like they were nice enough. They didn't actually tell it to like execute anything, but they added things to shopping carts. So it was in your added to cart history now.
Beautiful. I always love when I'm watching TV and the Xbox does something, but like I'm like, well, apparently that sounds too close to Xbox.
Yeah,
whatever you just said.
My home mini is off to the side next to my TV, and every now and then it will come up and I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
I feel like Google and Alexa are like distinct enough words that they don't get mistaken very often. But like you only run into trouble when you're actually talking about the thing.
Well, I've definitely like said I had it activate when there was something playing that wasn't saying anything about it, but it was something that it picked up that was close enough.
The thing that sucks, it's both good and bad. It's good because I'm lazy, but it's bad because it makes it more confusing. There is no action word for Xbox. It's not like hey or hello or any. There's no like prompt word. You just say Xbox, which is a word that sounds like a lot of things. And so it's always raising, and it's like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want you to shut the fuck up and go away because I'm not talking to you, asshole.
So I've noticed with mine. So my lights, I've got Wi-Fi enabled lights on it, and so I can dim them and stuff via. And like I found, if I tell it, give it the command word, and then say like lights 50, it will drop them to 50%. If I give it the command word and say lights 25, it will respond with, here are some search results for things matching lights 25 in the nearby area, and start giving me like maps results for something. And it's like, no, stop. I actually have to tell it percent. Like 25% if I want to hit 25 for some reason.
Man. So, real quick, I'm going to get back to the chat and then let's go back to the game because we've only got one more left? Or two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one more set.
While we're talking about lights, though, I just want to show this real quick because it's funny. Or it's funny to me anyway. So, I've talked about before on the DDR streams how the marquee gets blown out. Because it's much brighter than anything else in the scene, and cameras have trouble with that kind of dynamic range. And so in order to get, so either you have to darken everything to get the marquee to look right, or when you brighten everything to make it look good, then the marquee is just blown out and looks like garbage. Both of my DDR cabinets have the long fluorescent tubes in them, though. So what I did was I wrapped them in lighting gel to darken them down, and then they look correct on camera. In the case of Pump, there is literally just a regular ass light bulb fixture in there. Like, just screw a regular light bulb into it. This cabinet came with a CFL in it, which went out some time ago, and I had replaced it with an LED bulb. But for this stream, I actually replaced it with one of the like Wi-Fi controllable bulbs, because if you look here, I'll go ahead and.
Well, I mean, you can see on the stream, like, the neons around the subs are way blown out.
Yes.
Where in real life, like, you can very clearly make them out, and, like, they're not nearly that bright looking.
But I actually have, this bulb set to 25% brightness, which in the room it actually looks almost off. Like, to me and Tim here, just looking at it in person, it looks quite dim. But if you set it up to 100%, you'll see, like, it just completely blows out on camera and it looks like garbage. It looks quite pretty in person, but
it does have a nice spot glow right in the middle, but
yeah, I thought that's kind of part of the design too.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, that's maybe a little bit too bright. I would probably set it, if I was really setting it, I think this bulb is a little brighter than some normal. I'd probably set it about there. That's about 70%.
That looks really nice.
But
it's still blown out on the stream.
Right. So, like, if I pull it all the way down, like, there's a 50% still blown out. And then, I brought it all the way down to 25. And then it looks like you can read it again. But like I said, if you were to see this in person, you would be like, is your light bulb broken?
Is it slowly dying?
Yeah, it almost looks like maybe there's just, like, a light in the room kind of reflecting off of it. It almost doesn't look backlit anymore.
What it kind of looks like is it almost looks like you're supposed to have multiple lights behind it and only one's working and the other ones are all burnt out.
Right. And then I've got, like, some, like, tiny little candelabra bulb in there or something, right? But that's just one of those things where it's like the way your eyes work and the way a camera works are not exactly the same.
No, they're not.
And when you sometimes you have to play little tricks to make it behave the way you want. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you real quick. Everyone in the comment. Wait, soon can I do Pump It Up a second? I will. That will probably be the next stream. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but it will be soon. Everyone wants me to do Beethoven Virus. Well, it's going to have to wait till a future stream because it's not in this game. You remember the chite? Play it on non-step. Nice. Man, I never... Like that's stealth in DDR, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever. There may have been like one chart I ever memorized, but it was for a freestyle.
Yeah.
So there was a
same. Like I know, like I had, I think, the first entire half of like Hot. I played facing away from the screen back when I used to do it.
Yeah.
I just learned the chart, but again, they're relatively lightweight, easy to run charts.
Right. Anyway, bye Pichu. See you next time. Trooper. Really enjoy watching videos in your collection. Pump was the first arcade rhythm game you played. Wow.
Prex 3.
Nice. Prex 3, yeah, that was a few decades ago. Unless you just happened to play it on, like, like randomly. So I played, gosh, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was pre-COVID, so 3 years ago. Was it that long ago? I don't remember. Something like that. I was down in Texas and I went to this arcade and I played. They had a, what was it? It was an SX cabinet, but I think it was an SX1, and it was running Prex 2 or it was running something pretty old.
Yeah, you still find them occasionally at like these random arcades. Will just have an old cabinet, and like at this point, like if you're a smaller arcade,
I lied. It was a GX cabinet. The reason I remember that now is because it had the pump it up GX marquee, the generic marquee for the cabinet, which I've never seen in person, and my understanding is there's only like a handful of those in existence.
Weird.
Like less than 10. Like a single digit number of those exist.
Jesus.
Now this style, there's not very many of this one either. I think maybe, less than 50 of those. The GX one and this one, apparently they put them on cabinets that they took to trade shows.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because they were showing the cabinet, not necessarily the game. And so they used a generic...
Yeah, they wanted to show off the name of the game and the cabinet. So instead of people being like, oh yeah, maybe we should buy one of those Zero cabinets.
Right.
Like, no, you should buy a Pump It Up cabinet.
Which, not only that, but like a lot of their marquees are kind of confusing to read anyway.
2XXC2! Pump It Up. Well, yeah, because a lot of their marquees, like, for a while, the Pump It Up section was, like, would be like a little tiny thing on it, was the name of the game being the focus.
Yep. The marquee are more brighter. Usually the neon lights and the subwoofers or the spotlights on top. So, in this case, yes, the neons and the spots are brighter, but again, this is another one of those things where the way cameras see and the way people see are not the same. So because it's a different kind of light, because you got halogens up in the spotlights, these are neons, or technically CCFLs, and then that is LED or
and also,
something else.
On the stream, the top lights they look mostly white. Like when they hit full brightness, they're pretty much white with a little bit of yellow tinge in the when they're fading in and out. But in real life, like they are very clearly yellow the entire time.
Well, the outer two are a little pinkish, and the middle two are yellow. Yeah. And actually, when I took and now I'm blind.
Let's stare into halogens for a bit.
But when I took a photo of this cabinet, this one here is a little dimmer than the other three. I don't know why. Like visually, I can't see that, but the camera sure did. Yeah. So whatever. But weird things. But it's definitely like it's just one of those things where different types of light get picked up by the photosensor in different ways, and not always the same way that our eyes do. Plus, our eyes have the benefit of a brain that when things aren't quite right, our brain fixes it for us, where it's just like, 'cause actually, like, our eyes are kind of shit. But, like, we know what things are supposed to look like, so the brain fills in all of those gaps and makes it look right. Cameras are getting better at that. But
for still pictures.
Yeah, but they're definitely not quite the same.
So that's why that's one of the big things, like cell phone cameras, why they look so good, because a lot of them, it's a decent camera and a lot of post-processing on it to make it
and that's why
correct.
Also, like, when you're looking at it live, and then once you take the picture, the actual picture looks different than whatever it looked like, And
it doesn't always look accurate, but, like, that's one of the things I've noticed, that, like, a lot of times, it's not necessarily making it look accurate, but making it look good. Like, making it look pleasing to the human eye.
Right.
Even though if you then go hold it up against the actual thing, it's like, oh, that's not actually what it looks like. But I like the way this looks.
Right. Right.
So-
And then and not only that, but the camera that I'm using is also several years old, so it doesn't have a lot of that technology. Plus, I've got a lot of it turned off because it tends to, when you've got things that are like varying brightness and flashing and doing all kinds of stuff, cameras tend to get a little confused.
Yeah, you don't want all the auto stuff.
Right,
for it
so
to
it's
be
like
constantly
turn
going
all
up
that
and
shit
down.
off. Canon, when did Pump come to the U.S.? That's a question that I'm going to answer after I play this game that I accidentally started. Sorry. I'm so good at this. I believe the premiere.
Yeah,
is
the
first
premiere
one.
was the first international demo.
And that was what year, though?
2000 or 2000, I think? 2000 or 2000.
Is it that early?
I mean, they were pumping it out pretty. It might have been 2001.
Pumping it out, you
I
say?
mean, OBG, which was the third, came out in like I think spring of '99.
Crazy.
So either the end of 2000 or early 2001.
Party time!
Music is the night. Oh, do you want a funky music? Everybody funky music. Tonight is the night. Funky music is the night. Oh, do you want a funky music? Everybody funky music.
I guess I also have to remember too, like DDR was 98, but it was late 98,
Yeah.
and Pump was 99, but it was early.
No.
No?
This came out in September, but second mix-up came out at the end of December. So there was like 3 months between first and second, and then like 4 or 5 months between second and third.
Okay.
So within the first year, I think they had like almost 4 games out. But I think they had like 8 games out by 2002, or something like that, or 2003. Something I'd have to go and look, but they were pumping them up really fast, really early on.
Wild.
Which I mean, there wasn't a lot of content, so if you wanted to keep fresh content in the arcade,
Can
Yeah.
y'all hear me out there? It's party time!
And now you just online update it, and everything. The game doesn't change for
like
years.
the last 3 years.
Right.
wonder with the doubles if there's something where you actually have to hit them at the exact same time or something. 'Cause that, I think we got a lot more misses on the doubles than the
It's a
single
bully!
Yeah, could be.
misses are good.
Oh, here we are.
Starts.
Number 101. 146.05.
God damn it, guys. It's like, you guys did this in Bond.
Party time!
They did this in house. They did this on purpose.
Did it seem like it sped right up at the beginning?
A little bit.
Jeez. Ah, come on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, passed. Is that a
was
D?
the only triple. That was the only triple in this game.
And I even hit it.
Hey, we need a beat.
Alright.
Well, I did
All
it.
the single player. 2-player single options.
Hit me!
So, if you see forcing bulbs come on brighter because of overvoltage, you know, there's something wrong with your marquee. There's nothing wrong with my marquee. It's just the
No, because it looks fine in person when it's turned up.
yeah. Plus the like I said, the bulb that came with it was a CCFL, or was a CFL, sorry, and then I've replaced it with an LED.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit different temperature, a little bit different brightness.
Yeah, actually, when I was getting set for this stream, I had put a different bulb in it, another one of those Wi-Fi bulbs, but it was warm white, 2700, and it made the marquee look very like red orange.
Yeah.
It didn't look good at all, so I took it out of there and put the RGB one in, and this is set at 5,000. What is that? Like warm daylight?
Yeah. It was like daylight, and then you go above it, and it's like super bright, or whatever they call
Yeah.
it. Or bright white.
Do I have PIU PS2? I do, actually, but I don't have a pad for it, so I can't really play it. But I do have it.
How hard would it be to interface it?
I don't know. Probably not that hard, honestly. Because my understanding is that, like, electrically this works basically
yeah,
the
IO
same.
is not too complex coming out of this.
Yeah, as DDR anyway. You hate that goods break combo. That's the way it used to be, though, in both games. Difficulty gap seems to be big in these early games.
I would say. So I would say the reason that it seems so big is there's just not a lot of charts, and so like, if you look at like from the easiest to the hardest song in the game, like versus later mixes, I mean they get a lot harder. It's just because there's like not a lot to fill it in. Going song to song, like going up in difficulty, does jump fairly quick. just because there's only 15 songs in the game, if you don't count the remixes.
Or I'm not going to speak for you, but for myself, I'm going to say there's probably just a skill gap as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking about like the actual like how difficult the step charts are. Like,
yeah, I know. I'm joking.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not playing that great right now.
But versus like going with a modern mix where you can go and find 20 charts that are all labeled the same level, and they might be different levels of difficulty within that rank system.
Well, shit. Like nowadays too, it's like any given song has between single and double.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying earlier. You
Probably
have
like
6 to 10 charts on
exactly. And this one, like none of them have more than 2.
it. Yeah.
All right, should we do the remixes?
Yeah.
The non-stopu.
I guess just do the. Let's see. Yeah, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 according to this. But
Okay, well we can do them in order then. Is that even a song?
I don't recognize it from the rest of the game.
Nice. There's a song in the remix that wasn't even in the game.
Oh yeah, the remixes get the 3D back down.
Party time!
There's like artifacting in it. Oh.
Hey, there's another triple.
Yep. They save it to the end of the songs.
I do like these pre-mixed non-stops.
Yeah.
Not very many games do them, really. Yeah, but I like them when they show up.
Well, these ones aren't super long either.
True.
Hit me!
And you only get one. Imagine being able to sign in with a card, so it just remembers what settings you want.
Imagine having more than 20 seconds on the timer.
Well, to be fair, you can go through the menu like 5 times the amount of time now with as few songs as there are. It looks like we're playing the same chart. Yeah.
That's just the way they end the non-stops.
Apparently. I love it. So far we've been through 2 non-stops and they've all been songs that weren't elsewhere in the game.
Yeah, I know. Like the non-stop remix of what? Just other songs.
I love how the applause continues.
Hit me!
Crazy step.
Oh, this is crazy. Okay.
Non-stop remix. Crazy step. Yeah, that tunnel is kind of like broken, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoops. I blame the voodoo.
The graphics card or the magic?
Why not both?
got notably harder at the end.
Sure did.
Both hated the quick step into a jump.
Yeah. Tap, tap, jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we matched our perfects.
Hey, we need a beat.
We need a B, but we got a C. Damn.
Hit me.
Trippy generic. Yeah. First charts are so weird, it's cute. Some of these are pretty weird. Why does the life bar sometimes get black? I hadn't noticed. Have you noticed?
I'm not really paying attention to it, to be honest.
Is it because we're failing? It might be because we're
That
failing.
might be. When we bottom out.
Talking about the third remix. Yeah.
Yeah, these songs are very different. The remix tracks are very different than the rest of the music in the game, I feel like.
Well, it's like the
three so
it's
far.
Hit me.
artists that were in the game, but different songs completely.
Yeah. Alright. Non-stop remix 4. Turbo remix.
Turbo. You remember when computers had a turbo button?
Party time.
Hey, this chart is mirrored.
There were parts of the last one that were too. Not all of them.
Does feel significantly harder. I think that was a spin.
Yeah.
Did I
it was.
miss?
Yeah, that one was harder, but in a gimmicky, rough way.
I liked
not-
it, but it
It didn't feel like this is harder to flow it faster. Rather, it's harder because it's throwing you around
yeah.
more inconsistently.
Phew. More chaos on the groove radar.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Voodoo, so the Voodoo GPU chip is literally just on the board.
Yeah, I know it was integrated.
Yeah,
on
so it's not
the
on a
board in
separate
this.
card, and it doesn't have a fan. It's just, it has a little heatsink on it, but it's a small heatsink.
Yeah.
And I've been told that it's just glued to it, as opposed to being like real paste. But I don't know if that's true
I mean,
or not.
they make thermal epoxy
Yeah.
that is like, it is a permanent glue, but it is made to have thermal transference. It's not used very often in modern, in a lot of modern stuff, because you want to be able to
Replace it?
replace it. Especially, it's not, I don't think it's as good as like thermal paste or such for like higher heat load, but for a low heat load, it's probably fine.
Yeah. Well, it just tells you how far GPUs have come.
Oh yeah.
Since then. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. The Voodoo was great in its day, but like the idea of running a GPU with no fan today, nope.
Well, that one that I upgraded my first PC with didn't have a fan on it. It just had a little heat sink on it, probably about that big. And then like when I got, what did I get? I got a
By the way, the fins on that heatsink are maybe half an inch tall.
Yeah.
Like, they're tiny.
like I had a, what was it? A 68 GT6 or 6800 GT. That was when you could get like a GT or a GTX version of the same number.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like how many pipelines did they have open and stuff like that. And the reason I got the 6800 GT, and I got it with an AGP interface.
Yeah.
Because you could get it in AGP or PCIe at that time.
Wow,
but
fancy.
the PCIe version didn't really, it didn't use enough bandwidth to make a difference really. And one, my motherboard didn't support PCIe, but the PCIe version, the difference between the GT and the GTX was they disabled like a quarter of the pipelines or something like that, or some of the pipelines. And on the PCIe version, they actually went through and lasered them off. On the AGP version that I have, they just software disabled them. So that was, I got that card, and then there was a utility you could run
To fix
that
it,
just
to-
unlocked everything.
Nice.
And that was also the one I got an aftermarket cooler for, because it was a single slot little tiny blower fan about that big on it, and I got an aftermarket Zalman cooler. It was like a single fan, it was like a heat sink about that big that stuck on there. You put little heat sinks on the RAM modules and had it unlocked and overclocked on that machine with my single core 64-bit AMD processor. And I had a whole gigabyte of RAM.
Gigabyte RAM should do the trick.
Yeah. Actually, that was the point that I hit where I was like, I actually need to upgrade my computer, was after Minecraft came out. And I could only play it if I had nothing else running, because Minecraft used like 800 megabytes of RAM or something. Like if I had nothing else open,
Nice.
I would be running at like 90+% of my 1 gigabyte use.
Yeah.
But
I missed that Max was in the stream. Hey, Max, but you're leaving. And yes, this is significantly different than Infinity, but more so than it being different than Infinity, this is also just different from Pump Modern
Yeah.
anyway, because this is very, very old.
the first dance floor, in fact.
Yes. I think you would find that if you played a more modern game of Pump, it would be much closer to Infinity.
Oh yeah. Well, because Infinity was taking effectively taking the Pro and Pro 2 engine and fixing it or changing it to look and act like the current Pump It Up interface.
Yep.
And to play more like Pump It Up with the timings and the way that it acted. It wasn't exactly the same because it was running on a different engine, but they did a pretty damn good job of more or less emulating the Pump It Up engine.
Hello, Tiff and Clue. Thanks about the marquee. I actually, man, I've wanted one of these marquees for a long time, and it took me a while before I got one. They're kind of, this particular style is kind of rare. I also, just in general for my games, since I'm often switching games out, I like to try and find a marquee for the game that is either generic or from the first game, where it doesn't specify a particular, number or name or anything. That way, in theory, it's always correct.
Yep.
I can change because I'm kind of lazy, and changing software that already takes effort.
So, yeah.
And then to have to change the marquee also is a pain in the ass, and I don't want to do it. Yeah, Poppin' was interesting because that's
what I was looking. It's like, well, that looks like it was.
So this is Poppin' first. This, I believe, came out with maybe 21 or something like that.
Okay.
Because that's when they went OTA updates.
Okay.
So now they
just
just
a generic.
They put a generic marquee on it, and then they just push updates to the machine. And now
Why not?
they're being lazy. Like the other games, well, not DDR, but like 2DX
like
and UB, they at least will.
Oh, they get
ship
new,
an insert
new
into the
marquees,
art.
new pops, new.
Oh, you know what? Poppin' does get new pops,
Okay.
but they don't get new marquees anymore. The other thing too
Pops
is
are cheaper to make.
yeah, and the other thing too, the HD cabinets use the same marquee. They kept the same, so they could just
Nice.
make one and just make it. And they're like, we're done. Oh, that was me. Should we try some double?
Sure. If you wanna, I might
want to, or-
step out.
Okay,
I'm getting. I was feeling like they did that last one.
All right, I will try. I will look at double because I have not looked at much of this.
그래 나는 그래 나는 너무나 행복해
I'll probably just do the same thing. Just try and go through them all, I guess.
It's party time!
Why is that so far?
낙지 입도 반낙지 망같이 막지 달콤한 전이같이 하나 되는 우릴 봤지 너를 원해 일반전해 나를 너무도 원하는 너만의 눈빛이 내 눈에 적발로 원해
나는 너무 저대로 허무 어디서까지도 아껴할 수도 있어 이제 너 맘에 눈을 감아 아마 너무나 큰 감격에 그런 기쁨에 그래 나는 너무나 행복해
I'm not real crazy about those end-to-end steps.
Yeah.
If you would like a chair, you can move Demi and Miami and have a seat. Feel free to move the chair somewhere as well. I never learned this one, even though I've seen it done a million times.
Yeah.
Party time!
Right.
No,
I also have no idea if it's the same chart yet.
that's not the style chart.
사랑해 그 funky music 오늘 밤은 너무 아름다워 내가 생각하고 너를 보내
내 손을 잡아 지금 즐겁지 넌 필요
Yeah, so that wasn't the freestyle chart from the later versions.
Oh well.
돌아와 나에게 돌아와
It's party time!
돌아와 나에게 돌아와 돌아와 나에게 모두 내가 잘못했어 더 이상 망설이지
내게 쉽게 말할 수 있어 모두 다내 잘못이야 난 너를 잃기 싫어 별것도 아닌 걸 갖고 사과한 말만 좀 깨매면 자존심을 세워 버리게 결국엔 내가 어디서 봤어 내가 담아오던 너에게 나도 몰래 이럴 얘기를 던지는 내 잘못이면서
돌아와 나에게 돌아와 돌아와 나에게 모두 내가 잘못했어 더 이상 망설이지 말고
I think you might be right about jumps. If you don't hit them precisely at the same time, it doesn't.
Yeah, because there's some where it's like, I feel like I got them pretty damn right on, and it's just like, miss. Outright.
Yep.
Like, ugh.
Hit me!
Anyway, let me scroll back a little bit in the chat. To the answer to Clue, am I using Pump OS or real hard drive? So in this case, I'm using the actual real official hardware because, as far as I know, first and second don't run on Pump OS anyway. And also, it's a CD-ROM, so not even a hard drive. But so yeah, this is as real as it gets, I guess.
Yeah.
For good or for ill.
Unless you can manage to track down an official first mix kit CD, which,
Good luck.
yeah.
I don't imagine there's a lot of those.
Well, they never released outside of Korea.
Yeah.
So.
Max, thanks for the info. Yeah, you're welcome. Always fun. Feel the same way. You had to cope by getting a double X marquee on your cab, which is the only pump game you can't play, so it's always incorrect. Oh, that's too bad. Now, to be fair, though, the double X marquee with the double X being in the background behind a pretty large Pump It Up
Yeah.
logo, it looks...
It's a lot better than like what they were doing for a while, where they're like,
Yeah.
here's the name of this mix, and here's a little tiny Pump It Up in the corner next to it.
Right.
They're
So
really pushing-
if you don't know the games well, the double X marquee among all of the marquee designs is probably a pretty decent one to have to kind of, be an umbrella.
Yeah.
To just kind
Well,
of
and
fit
it
over
was,
everything.
it was 20th anniversary ones. They were really pushing the Pump It Up
Right.
aspect of it.
Gosh, Exceed 2. Not only does it say
such a
like
mess.
2 Exceed 2 or
Well, they have
whatever.
the giant 2X, and then it's Exceed 2, and then Pump It Up is like little tiny graphics.
The
in there.
Pump It Up is not even a logo on there, right? It just says
Oh,
Pump It
okay.
Up in a plain font at the bottom, I thought. Or at the top. I don't think the actual Pump logo is even on the marquee.
Let's see.
Like
no, it's not.
that particular marquee
It's
is
a
like
giant 2X and then exceed 2 below it.
right, and Pump It Up is on there, but it's like just a plain font and it's small, either above or below
Yeah.
Exceed 2. I can't remember. Is it on top or bottom?
Trying to find a picture of this.
What am I? I'm stupid. I have
You
one.
have
Let me
marquee.
just go get it. All right.
I think it's below exceed. It says pump it up. But like I'm finding like the ones I am finding the pictures of it online, like it's.
So here's the bullshit that we're talking about. So this is the marquee that goes with
Oh, there
Exceed
it is.
2, and yeah,
Pump it up. The international 6 dance. It doesn't even. You can't even see all of floor there. It's the international 6 dance.
right. So if you were looking at this, like, what is the name of this game? I mean, it looks like the X-Men 2 logo.
Everyone I saw who used to walk up to the machine in the arcade called it 2X Exceed 2.
Yeah, 2X Exceed 2.
Because that's what it says.
Right. And I don't know if I can. Well, actually, maybe I can do it from here. So, see, there's where it says "Pump It Up," like literally, just these tiny letters in a plain font
That are
in the little
blown out.
in the little crook of the X. So like, right here.
Yeah.
Like, graphic design is my passion, okay? Like, that's what this is about. I mean, to be fair, it is, like, aesthetically, it looks nice.
Yeah, it looks
Like, it's
cool.
not ugly.
It's just, it does a very bad, like, it's one of these, like, graphically it looks cool. It just does a terrible job of
It's
portraying
hard,
information.
It's hard to read. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's Exceed 2.
2X Exceed 2.
Yes, the opening, the Exceed 2 opening song is definitely awesome. For the actual, like, title song. Now, like, the title loop gets real old.
Bum 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 bum.
That's the one. Yeah,
Yep.
because it's, like, maybe 10 seconds long. It's just,
Yeah.
like, you know, one bar in one key, one bar in another key, repeat. So, that's...
Yeah, like some of the older like marquees, like was it Premiere 3.
Yeah, that makes
Like,
sense.
Pump It Up, and then Premiere 3, the International Dance Floor.
Yeah.
Like, it-
now, to be fair, like, the Pump It Up logo is a little bit difficult to parse, too. Because,
Yeah.
like, it up being... like, if I were designing it, I would put... Good job. I would
you
put it up below Pump.
Yeah.
I think it would read better that way, but you know, they didn't ask me, so...
Again, I mean, the reason that everyone, like, pretty much everyone who plays it refers to it as just pump. Yeah, I'm gonna go play some pump. But yeah, like we said, like Exceed 2 was what Brian and I both really like got into pump and learned on.
Oh yeah, this, I mean...
they had it at a local arcade when it came out. They got it.
This is definitely,
And-
of all the games, this is the one I've played the most.
Yeah, and so
by
that's
far.
the one, you know, we used to meet up once a week. We had a Pump It Up night. We'd meet up almost every week. And
God, what day was that?
it shifted. We did Tuesdays, we did Wednesdays for a while. I think we did Thursdays for a while. Because, like, we do one day of the week, and then eventually it's like a couple people would, like, drop off or something. It's like, oh, my schedule changed around. Can we switch to this day? And like, all right, well, shift it over to this day.
I
But-
think... I don't know if I have an Exceed marquee. I think it is about as bad.
I think it's like just a giant X and then Exceed in front of it, if I recall. But yeah, it was at a local laser tag place, and the way it was set up, you walked in the main door, and immediately on the left you had the Pump It Up cabinet, and then if you turned right, that's when you went down to like the rest of the arcade and the front desk and all that, and so there was a huge open space right behind the cabinet, and because that was actually the staging area when people were getting ready to go into the laser tag, because that was like the big open spot. They would stand there until they'd open the door for them to go in and gear up. So it wasn't uncommon if it was a busy night or you had a laser tag party there or something. you'd be playing and you'd have this mass of people that would just move in.
Oh, that's right.
Behind
I forgot
because
about that.
was the staging area, and so you'd end up with like 20 people standing there watching you, and then they'd all file out.
Good times. Good times. Yeah, I don't. If I have an Exceed marquee, I don't know where it is right now. But I just flipped through some of the ones that I have, and yeah, they're definitely varying degrees of legibility, as opposed to where Pump It Up appears, and if it makes any sense in the flow. You see, the thing about Korean is
the NX logo behind you there, which at least like it's NX, but then it Pump It Up New Genesis below it. Like it emphasizes the NX, but you can read Pump It Up pretty clearly. The Fiesta EX one is Pump It Up 2011 Fiesta EX. That's okay.
Or as I like to call it, FEX.
Fiesta-X.
But yeah, I don't know. And the funny thing is like, unlike, traditional Japanese or Chinese, Korean actually does read left to right, top to bottom.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no real, like, this isn't a cultural thing where it's like, okay, maybe I'm just reading it backwards, like manga.
I mean, like, as far as the Pump It Up logo goes, like, the logo in and of itself, like, the It Up is very stylized. It has that, like, kind of, like, hip-hop graffiti-esque look to it. But, like, the emphasis on Pump and then It Up, like, if you're just looking at that logo by itself, it's pretty clear that it's Pump It Up.
To be honest with you, when I first, like, encountered Pump It Up, I think it was quite a while before I realized that It Up were even words.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's just like pump, which I can read. And I like graphically, I actually like this design. But this didn't read as letters to me. It just read as like a design.
It's very stylized.
Yeah, and so I just was like, pump, okay, cool.
Well, and especially if you were playing a mix that had the smaller version of the logo on it.
Right.
Where it was even less clear.
All right. Well, I guess 3 more games to get through doubles, and then we're done.
All right.
I am going to take a quick potty break. Also, just because I want to use the I want to use the BRB screen because I since I made it. So I'll be back in just a couple minutes, and then I'll do the 3 more doubles sets to finish out all the songs, and then we'll probably I can say that I've played it all.
Yeah.
I guess technically I didn't play like all of the regular charts as singles.
Player, yeah, or as first. Yeah, I don't know if they're different in like single versus in versus mode, because they do have different sets of charts for the verses. Like they're slightly different from each other.
I think it seems. I'm sure like the patterns are pretty much the same. It's just that you, whereas in like couple or 2-player or whatever, it kind of alternates. And I'm guessing in single player you probably just have to do both.
Yeah, it probably just doesn't have those breaks in there.
Because I noticed that most of the charts, it's like whatever you would do, then I would do something basically the same.
Yeah.
It might be mirrored or whatever, but like the pattern was the same.
I would do a pattern and then stop while you did a pattern.
Right.
And then, yeah.
So I'm guessing in
Just
single
going
play,
in
you
between.
probably end up just doing both sides.
Probably.
But there you go. All right, so I'm gonna hit BRB for just a second, and I'll be back. So give me just a second. All right, I am back. Thanks for sticking with me for a second. Yeah, you like my little DVD logo animation? I came up with all of these really stupid ideas for graphics on these streams. If you watched last week, like it was very bare bones. The starting and end screens were literally just over black. Like I had spent all my time just getting like all the gear set up to do the stream, and Tim was very patiently waiting on me. And then I didn't, and then I just slapped the overlay together like on the spot in like probably 20 minutes, and it was like.
Why there was no chat or anything.
Yeah, it was a little rough, but it worked. But to be fair, like the game was pretty rough for reasons that we've since learned. So it was probably fine.
Honestly, like now that it's running correctly,
it's pretty playable.
Yeah, it's
like
very playable.
It
is pretty damn polished for the first.
So I've heard a lot of like horror stories about this game, but it seems pretty solid, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it crashed on you in the last stream, and like I could understand like it would if you were running this all day at the arcade, it would probably crash more often, stuff like that. You'd see crashes, but
right.
As far as the actual game and playability, it's
to be fair, I have no idea what the nature of that crash was.
Yeah.
That could be we are literally running this on a 22-year-old piece of hardware,
Yeah.
So who knows? Like anything could go wrong, but so yeah, no, I've been real happy with it today.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, considering it's their first attempt and it's 480.
Yeah, 480p
FPS,
60. Like
the engine works relatively well. It's
and to be honest, like the judgment being kind of wonky, I think it's wonky compared to what I'm used to in Pump, and so it feels weird, but I don't think it's wrong. It's just different.
And obviously that's something that they obviously changed over time.
Which I'm perfectly. I'm honestly, I like the looser timing in Pump.
Yeah, I'd say it makes it more fun to play.
Right.
As long as, especially for the average, arcade goer who's,
Well, not only that, there's plenty of other kinds of difficulty in Pump that you don't.
Pump has traditionally been more about, can you hit all of these very quickly and not miss any of them, versus can you get your timing perfect on everything.
Right. But anyway, so I guess I'm gonna wrap this up and do 3 more doubles sets, just so that we can kind of take a look at all the doubles charts, and then I believe I will have played everything in the game. Well, collectively, we will have played everything in the game. So let's and somehow we made a full-length 3-hour stream out of a game with 15 songs in it.
And 4 remixes of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's been some repeat content because we did it on, easy and hard, and then we did it in double.
I mean, going through, that's what, 8 playthroughs, and then 12 playthroughs for easy, hard, doubles, and then 4 more, so 16 playthroughs.
And you've seen it all.
Yeah, 16 credits, and you can play the entire game.
But, the last thing I was going to say, though, is for all these graphics, like, I put almost all of them together today, but I was telling Tim, actually, earlier today, like, I feel, I don't know if I'm getting worse at multitasking as I get older, or if I'm just coming to terms with the fact that I'm terrible at it, and so I don't do it anymore, but the reason I was able to get through everything and kind of make all this stuff today was just because it was the only thing I was doing. Like, I wasn't trying to play a game at the same time, or, watch a video at the same time, or, I wasn't even listening to music. I literally was just kind of like head down, click, 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 do the things. And the only thing I was doing was bouncing between down here to get footage to work with, and then going back upstairs to actually do the edits, because my for real computer that works well is a desktop and it's upstairs, so like I prefer to do my work there. Plus I like sitting at a desk.
Yeah, well, you've got a dual monitor and a desk and a nice chair, and
Yeah.
it's better to work on than
Right. Like if I was going to do it down here, I'd have to do it on my laptop, which not my fave.
Yeah, well, it's showing its age at this point.
Well, that's true. It's also a 2013 laptop,
yeah,
so
it was a really nice 2013 laptop.
yes,
but
it was good at the time, but that was 9 years ago, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. But okay, let me let's do this, I guess. That happens to be what I want. Double twin roll step. Twin roll step? Okay, I suppose. Okay, so we're gonna do upper right. I think I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, since that seems to be what they were intended. That seems to be the intent.
Check it out, yeah, the hit house scene. Come on, freak it out, the sensation. Body freak, generate the foundation. Inequality, let's stay together, let's live in harmony. Check one, check one. When I come down right to the sun.
Boy, they really love those all the way across the stage step. I mean, it's not Chunk Bon John, at least. Well, this flows correctly too. It's just hard to do.
Body freak, generate the foundation. Inequality, let's stay together, let's live in harmony.
So that rap that we decided was also used in Think You Better D in DDR, I did learn not from this rap, but Night Saturn sent me literally a link on YouTube to the clip of the album where the stock rap from Put Your Faith in Me came from. So the answer to the question, are there just like stock clips of raps? Yes, the answer is yes. And apparently a lot of those raps got used in a lot of different games at the time. Because why not?
Yeah.
Yo, 1, 2, 9. Can y'all hear me out there? It's party time!
It's party time! There it is again. I like when songs like play through the stage clearance screen and everything. It's kind of neat for some reason.
We're just gonna let it keep going.
I'm scared. Not gonna lie.
Jump, 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 jump,
Yeah.
jump, jump, jump,
Oh
jump.
boy, here we go.
It's party time!
Here we go. Oh, that sucks. Man, it was doing this thing where it was like a pattern over here, directly to this jump. You love how some of the licenses got remixed, yeah. And this song sure is jumpy. It sure was. And some kind of awkward jumps at that. Ooh, I'm gonna let this play for once.
About a year after DDR first release. Because DDR released in apparently September of '98.
Yeah, I was gonna say August or September.
Yeah, and this came out in '99. So.
Huh.
So it was after. So
Yo, 1
it makes sense that they looked at DDR and was like, oh,
Maybe we shouldn't do it that way.
Party time!
better. Like, we can make this better text.
Hit me!
To be fair, I think 99 would have been a pretty early time to be using a PC
Yeah.
in an arcade game. I don't know if that was a brave decision on Andamiro's part or a lazy one.
Like I said, I don't know the history of Andamiro as a company, but like, I mean, the one of the big benefits is that you could, for the most part, get off the shelf components. Like like they have custom I/O boards and stuff like that, and they have the Voodoo card is integrated into some of the circuitry, but like you're not having to design your own hardware outright. You're not having to modify something significantly. Like it's a off-the-shelf processor and RAM configuration. So
I'm a little bit, and maybe this is just because that's how things were done at the time. I'm a little bit surprised that the board is a custom board, as opposed to just some off-the-shelf motherboard, slap it together, go.
Well, I mean that's what they did for everything going on. From
Right,
that.
I know, but I
So,
don't know why.
but yeah.
Like, if they were willing to make the jump to PC in '99, why they weren't willing to make the jump to like, okay, we're literally just gonna go down to the, PC store and just buy some shit and
Yeah.
put it together. But
Obviously, over time they're like, wait, this would be easier and cheaper to just buy a bunch of graphics cards and motherboards.
now, to be fair, I know. From having worked with a lot of these games, that there are some quirks in the way some of the hardware works, that if you try to run it on not the exact PC that they had, it behaves funky.
Yeah.
So maybe that was their attempt to be like, okay, well, we're going to standardize it on this, and that way we know it's always this, and it's up to us because we're making the board. We don't have to worry about they're going to discontinue it, or they might make a Rev A that just works slightly different, and now we're fucked, right?
Except then they did that to themselves.
Right, then they did it to themselves, so whatever.
MK6 V1 versus V2. We changed the motherboard, and now Zero sound doesn't work. Though granted, like, as an arcade operator, that should never have been an issue, because, like, the V2 came out with NX on it, and so, like,
right.
The idea would be if you bought a V2, you were getting a kit with NX or something newer, so you wouldn't have a reason to.
It breaks
downgrade
backward
it.
compatibility, not forward.
Yes,
Yeah.
but as far as arcades go, especially back then when they were doing a release every year, no arcade would normally go backwards.
Right.
So as far as their actual like main client base goes, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it's true. You have to think about things in like real business terms as opposed to
A home collector.
right. If you try to play it on the wrong PC, it will get even funkier tonight. I think that might be true.
It's party time!
It's kind of hard for me anyway, harder for me to improv freestyle this game, partly because of the harder judgment. I can't slop it as much, but also because even if I've not played a song before, there's a lot of patterns that like I innately know what they're gonna do based on how the music is going, and so like I'm expecting to do certain things, and they haven't really established that yet. Right, and so it's like, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do at all.
Jump across to the other side.
Right.
Yes.
So, like, if I try and turn away or do a spin, it's like I just misstepped because it was doing something that I wasn't expecting at all.
사나이 가는 길에 기죽지 마라 없어도 자존심만 지키면 눈물 따윈 내게 없을 거야 그저 안녕이란 말하고
Mechada, the timing window looks funny. You're not wrong. It is a little weird. But that's because it's first mix. Or first dance floor. We've been kind of talking about that off and on all night. Oh, here we go. Ignition starts.
It's party time!
Rough start, but it came out okay in the end. The whole Pump It Up cabinet looks fun. This isn't the oldest Pump It Up cabinet. From what I understand, the old SD cabs are kind of janky.
Yeah. Well, the original SDs were basically just a copy of the DDR cabinet.
But not a good copy.
No.
Like, they aren't built well.
No. And I know that's where, like, because Konami got kind of mad at them about that. Because it was just like a carbon copy for the cabinet design. So
I got one more, but doing cheering fist pumps in the background if someone playing Pump It Up is one of your favorite pastimes. Yeah, I can feel that. Like a fighting game background character. Beauteous. Love it. Alright. Well, I got one more set to do, and then I guess I will have played it all. So let's do it, I guess. And then wrap it up for the night. That's a good idea. I'll have a little drink before I
hydrate.
start. Yeah, I'm running out, and it's quite warm at this point. Didn't I do that with you sitting here? Did I do that with you sitting here? No. It's made to look like the title screen.
I like it.
You know, it's nice and janky. All right. Here we go. The end. Twin roll step. Twin roll step.
Tonight is the night. Funky music is the night. Oh, do you wanna
I feel like I did this already.
everybody funky music?
On double.
Tonight is the night. Funky music
Did.
is the night.
So are these like in a different order?
Funky music.
I don't know.
Odd.
Did you start on a different one?
Party time!
Funky music is the night.
No, I mean this is first stage.
Yeah.
Music.
Huh.
Everybody funky music. Tonight is the
Well,
night. Funky music is
our
the
plan
night.
has been
Oh, do you wanna
thwarted.
funky music? Everybody funky music.
가볍은 옆에 내 발길이 멈춰서 웃었던 눈에 난 살아봤어 보여 그녀도 나만큼
did start the first game on the 2-player side. I don't know if that makes a difference. But yeah. You said you don't think I've already played the doubles chart? I thought I did.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I thought that was the very first double.
I wasn't paying attention, but the end of that definitely looked like the freestyle chart. Was that the same as the end last time you played it?
Mostly. Okay, I haven't played this. So, shrug. Well, if I missed one, I'm sorry.
It's party time! Coming back to you like one more time. Gonna do make it clear with another number one. Oh yeah, what you think about that? Bring it on down with the baby black cat. I'll really wanna let you know. For a long time I've loved you so. Come on, baby, run away with me. You're not guaranteed we're gonna look after me. Ha 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 ha.
That feels like it's over, but it isn't.
Coming back to you like one more time. Gonna do make it clear with another number one. Oh yeah, what you think about that? Bring it on down with the baby black cat. I'll really wanna let you know. For a long time I've loved you so. Come on, baby, run away with me. You're not guaranteed we're gonna look after me. Ha 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 ha.
All right. Should be hypnosis. Last one. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots. 7 circles. 180.2.
But it is a Banya song. I mean, it is one that they developed in-house
It's
for
party
use in a
time!
rhythm game. They decided to do it at a 0.2 BPM. Good going, guys. Yeah,
Why don't you just get up and
that's
dance,
just
man?
mean.
Well, I failed one. Should I do it again? No. Okay, good. Oh my goodness. So I'm wondering, do you think, maybe, here's a thought, whatever they were making the music in, was using a different time base than whatever they made the steps in. And there's a slight discrepancy, you know, kind of like video, you know,
Yeah.
instead of 50 or instead of 60 frames a second, it's 59.94, you know, and so
Yeah.
there's like a slight difference depending on, you know, which time base you picked. So I wonder if when they made the music, they set it to, you know, 180 BPM, but then their step chart engine uses a slightly different time base. So in order to get it to line up right, they have to like tick it just a little bit to make it right.
That could be, but like other songs are even numbers. Like there are some other ones that I think were like some of the third-party songs that were just like 180 BPM flat.
Yeah.
So it's particularly funny to me that it's the in-house Banya
The
music.
stuff that they had the most control over
Yes.
is the wonkiest.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I don't know. I'm just like grasping at any kind of like, technical like goofy thing that I can think of where it's
Yeah,
like,
who
well, maybe
knows?
there's a reason for this other than we're crazy. But I don't know. That's all pure conjecture. So, but anyway, level descriptions are used until 0. Yeah, twin roll step. The Judgment font looks like it would fit in the packaging of ice cream or something from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is from the 90s, so that makes sense. Red dots, 7 circles of hell. Ooh. Well, I did fail it, so maybe that's true. Man, am I gonna go out on a fail? Yes, I am, because I'm done.
I'm worn out.
Yeah,
I'm out of shape.
I
need to
normally
exercise
like
more,
if
I'm done.
under a normal circumstance or a normal stream, I
I'm
might
not stand in front of you.
play again so that I don't go out on a fail. But I'm pooped, and it's hot. So, but
Yeah, when I first walked over to the other side, I was like, oh, it's a little bit cooler over here.
yeah,
instead of in the corner.
unfortunately, this particular corner of the basement is the warmest corner of the basement. Thank goodness. So those halogens, I'm sure, are reasonably warm.
Yeah.
But like all of the actual camera lighting, which, by the way, just for your, this is another little thing about like the difference between how we see, our eyes see, and cameras see. It's really overlit in here right now. Like,
Yeah.
for me, this is way brighter than I would normally ever have it. But if I turn off the lights,
I mean, granted, this corner is a little dark
yeah,
because you don't have the overhead lights in this corner on. It's a little bit dark, but like the ambient glow from the machine, because it's so bright and there's so much light on it, it lights it up perfectly fine so you can see everything.
right.
But it's super dark on camera.
Like, I could play this, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, I would play it like this, no problem. In fact, usually, so like there's little overhead ceiling lights, but these kind of make a glare on the screen, so I usually turn them off anyway. But, even that is not particularly bright on camera.
No.
So,
Well,
but
I've shown you like what I think I sent you a picture of what I use for streaming. Like I have a 150 watt equivalent LED just straight up at my ceiling, and then I also have a couple small diffused panel lights on either side of the camera facing straight at me.
Yep. Well, the reason I was saying, the reason I mentioned the lights, if you want to hit that other one, the lights that I'm using, I mean, they're just real simple stands with like an umbrella diffuser on them, but this light kit originally came with incandescent bulbs.
Yeah.
And there were 2 of them. I think one of them was 150 watts, and the other one was a 300 watt
Jesus.
incandescent bulb. It was like the globe was like that big. It was this huge thing, and it was
So damn hot.
it was so hot. Like if you look at one of the 2 umbrellas, the latch part is like melted. It's from that light bulb. It just melted.
Well, I mean, consider like so that's putting out 300 watts of energy that it's using and creating
of
heat
which
from.
like 1% is light.
Yeah.
Maybe if
Like,
you're lucky.
If you consider, like, think about, like, so modern, like, the current Intel processors, the top end i9 processors, I think in normal operating conditions, when they're at full boost, run at like 240 watt, and are a massive pain to cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these giant heat sinks on them to try and keep them cool. And
No, those 300 watt bulbs were basically a space heater.
Yeah.
Like, it was ridiculous. So I can only
I do not miss
imagine.
incandescents.
You can only imagine how horrible it'd be right now if I was
Oh, yeah.
using those lights. I mean, the reality is I just wouldn't.
That's like I mean, a lot of the old, like, you talk to people who've been in, like, the movie industry for a long time, and back when everything was incandescent
Yep.
and stuff, like, those sets were just super crazy hot, because they had giant panel lights and light
Yep.
boxes all over.
Well, not only that, but the cameras also were even less sensitive.
Yeah.
So you're
Oh, yeah,
using
you had tons
you're
of
using
light.
way more lights that are super hot just to get, you know, an acceptable looking scene. So, like, you know, take the situation that I'm discussing here and it, like, multiply it times 10, and it's just like, well,
I think the one that
we're just going to shoot this on the sun, okay?
that I remember in particular was apparently when they filmed Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Mm-hmm.
And they set up the giant candy room, and they had the chocolate river. Apparently, the initial version was actual, like, chocolate and milk in it. But when they they set it up and they turned on all the lights, the river started curdling.
Yeah, I can see it. Yep. But Shrimp says an i9 12900K can suck as much as 200 to 300 watts with no overclocks.
Yeah. Like I said, and they're considered, like, extremely power hungry, and, like, you need a top-end air cooler or water cooling to manage the temperatures.
Right, and we're talking about a light bulb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were stupid. So,
and at the
everybody,
time, it's
can we all have a nice positive thought for LEDs?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's like I said. I have a 150 watt equivalent LED, and it's like 20 watt or something like that.
Well, yeah, because like these are, I think
it's bigger than a normal size light bulb. It's like it is a little bit bigger, but it doesn't get particularly hot.
Right. I think these are 100 watt equivalent,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're maybe 12 watts.
Yeah.
Maybe 9. I can't remember. This low. So, all right. Well, we've talked about all sorts of delightfully random things.
Completely off topic.
But you know, if you've ever watched my streams, you know that's par for the course. If you've never watched my streams, well, you're probably not watching anymore because you got annoyed, and I'm sorry. But anyway,
sorry,
with
you
that,
can go watch the VOD afterwards and watch me fall over.
But all right. So thanks for joining us on this look back at Pump It Up first dance floor.
We're running correctly this time.
Yes, actually synced this time. It was fun.
Yeah, actually,
Like,
I really enjoyed it this time around.
I enjoyed it. It was
very
so
playable.
damn frustrating last week.
Yeah.
And this was enjoyable. Like, still wonky.
Really, it felt more so like the timing, and maybe there's something weird going on with the jumps, like you said.
Yeah.
And there's definitely things where it's like, that didn't feel like a miss.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, it definitely feels markedly different from modern Pump.
Yes.
And doesn't even really feel like DDR either. It feels stricter like DDR, but not the same. Just
Yeah.
different. And that makes it feel weird. But overall, I'm glad we got to play it. I'm glad you got to share it with us, and I hope you had a good time, because I think we did.
Yeah.
And I'll be back next time with second dance floor.
Both.
Yeah, 2-end dance floor.
The one that came out like 3, maybe 4 months after this one.
Pump It Up the next one. So, but it takes 2 international dance floors. Well, we're not even international yet.
No,
We got a ways to go before we go
The
international.
premiere was the first one they labeled as international, and I think it was like, because I think by the time they did the first international, they were up to like 7th or 8th dance floor in Korea.
Something like that.
They had so many different ones. They're like these are, like, I think they had some that were like, because that premiere was the first international. They might have like released one of the previous ones in a different region, but not internationally. Like, it's, yeah, I think Premiere 3 or Prex was the first one where they just like unified the versions, and they're like, this is the one we're doing everywhere. The thing, we're selling it in Korea, we're selling it internationally, and then by Exceed, it was just,
which frankly
everything forward.
is more / better than what Konami has ever done.
Yeah.
Konami's releasing has been very, very, like, pocketed and inconsistent throughout, whereas Pump, pretty much, if you want it, you should be able to get it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Well, I know someone was asking. Was it last week when someone was asking about like why is it so hard to find? What was that in the Discord? Someone was asking about like why it's so hard to find DDR mixes, like the modern DDR, and in the arcades. Like the only places you'll find it are
Dave and Buster's and Round 1.
Yeah, that's
in
the
the
only
U.S.
places
anyway.
in the U.S. because Konami wants to sell a bulk contract to a company that will buy a bunch of machines, and so like as an individual arcade, you can't just call them up and say, "I want to buy a DDR 20th anniversary cabinet."
They'll just say no.
Yeah, they just won't sell. They'll be like, "Okay, how many arcades are you buying it for?"
Yep.
Oh, one? No.
Right. So
When we pump it up, they'll just be like, "Okay, just contact your local distributor that we work with, and we'll just
here you go.
here you go." Yeah,
I mean, shoot, Pump you can just order online.
yeah,
A lot of places. So,
yep.
but anyway, all right. Well, like I said, thanks again, and we'll see you next time. So, have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.